Hello everyone, how's it going? Welcome to another Sovereign Citizen Saturday. I hope you're all doing well. Hey Corex, how's it going? As you can see, the dinosaur costume won today, so that's cool. We'll be all dinoed up. Today we have all sorts of Sovereign Citizens to take a look at. Delusions, Deadbeats, and more. Should be good. If you want to help support the stream, you can always use bits messages. You can always gift subscriptions or subscribe yourself. If you want to help out on YouTube, use the thumbs up. It helps a lot, helps new people find the channel. Other than that, I think we can just get into it. I don't think I have any housekeeping of any sort. I think we can just kind of jump into it. Today, I think we're going to start out with AI Marcel. AI Marcel. Yep, he's still doing this. He still thinks this looks good. His beard is scary in this one.
Fellow seekers of truth and freedom. Today, we embark on a journey to uncover the hidden chains.
I want you to look at his beard specifically during this one. It has the most uncanny beard effect I know like.
That bind us within the legal slavery system. A system that thrives.
This counts as training material for your new job. Oh, congrats on the new job. Is it something court-related? Amber, did you miss, or did y'all miss much? No, we just started.
On our ignorance of our own unregistered, unincorporated rights. This is not just a story of legal jargon.
He's quiet. Let me turn it up for you guys, sorry.
It's a tale of empowerment, of reclaiming what is inherently ours. Imagine a world where the legal system loses its grip on you, where you stand tall as a competent heir, administering your own estate. This world is not a fantasy. It becomes reality when you learn what your rights are, how they work.
Kind of creepy hearing an AI figure say, this world is not a fantasy. Is this the real life? Is this just fantasy?
The benefits are profound, offering you a life of autonomy and dignity. Consider this. Canada, a nation we hold dear, has a receiver general, a testament to its status.
Also, I'm wearing my
as a
Scooby-Doo shirt
entity.
under this today.
Yet,
you're welcome,
we,
chat.
The people, are tricked into registering and hypothecating the title of our own property, pledging it to a foreign corporation.
Did we go over his critique of me? His critique of me. Yelling slurs at me. I don't know if I'd call it a critique. But no, we might cover it tomorrow. Tomorrow we're doing a Patreon and YouTube member-only stream. So we might cover it there. I'm not sure. Is this AI? It is, unfortunately. Yes. Marcel made an AI of himself and makes AI videos now. Because, I don't know, seems more human than the real Marcel, I guess. Prey says, hey Hannah, hey chat, got a date so won't be here long, just wanted to swing by and support the stream. Well, thank you very much, and I hope you enjoy your date. Have a great time.
Canada Inc. This corporation, masquerading as the Government of Canada, is registered in Washington, D.C. at the Canadian Embassy. Don't just take my word for it. Look it up on essex.gov.
Jesus. Odd Tall Man with a $5 super chat says, I have jury duty this week. Is it wrong that I love jury duty? I've been on 2 trials at this point in life, ready for more. Hey, if you like it, that's good. Is it because you get power over people? That's a little concerning.
Chaos and harm we witness in the world today.
Oh, that clipping when his hand disappeared behind his neck. Look at that. Look at his finger. Oh, the AI doesn't know what to do. It doesn't know what to do with his finger. Oh. AI is scary. This whole video's AI, if you don't know. If you just got here, this whole video's AI. None of this happened. A computer hallucinated this.
Stem from a single source. Our lack of
it can't figure out the hands.
These rights exist beyond the confines of legal codes, yet they can be reserved within them once we know how. It's time to break free from the shackles of ignorance. It's time to learn your rights. Visit privatelawtrusts.org. Email us at privatelawtrusts@outlook.com and explore our channel on rumble.com by searching for Private Law Trusts without spaces. This is your moment for good consequences. It's time to claim your rights and leave behind the punishment of the legal slavery system. Embrace your freedom and let us guide you on this transformative journey. Together, we can create a world where knowledge is power and freedom is our birthright. Thank you for joining us on this path to liberation. Visit privatelawtrusts.org now.
That's an unfortunate one. Ugh. It's so much calmer than normal Marcel, but, like, creepy, too. Not a fan. Wonder how Chief Motto is.
Good morning, friends.
If you're not familiar with Chief Motto, we discovered him recently. Chief Motto is not actually a chief. He seems to just be some white guy, but he claims to be Jewish, African, and indigenous. He tends to use all three at once. As far as I can tell, none of these things are true. So that's interesting. He got in trouble in court for wearing a big headdress, which he shouldn't be wearing. Screaming at the Radio says, is this a new Poe's law so dumb you can't tell if it's AI? It has to be something else, though. We'll workshop a name.
Wanted to share some wisdom with you. What I want you to do is I want you to refute everything that I'm telling you. Okay? But if you listen very carefully over the next few minutes, this is going to blow your mind.
I bet.
These are some of the things that we are not taught in school and some of the reasons why we're not. Okay? So, when we were all born, we were born as state nationals, according to Title 8, Section 1101 Alpha 21. And 23 means conferring the status of a state upon any person after their birth. Go read it.
Sir, as per, I believe, the 14th Amendment, we have birthright citizenship. So you are a U.S. citizen the moment you're born on U.S., land? Or if either of your parents are American citizens, it automatically applies. Hey, Akintar, thanks for the raid. Make sure you go check out Akintar here on Twitch.
So, when we were born that way, we were free. We were one of we the people, as defined in the Constitution. So, when our parents got us a social security number and birth certificate, we became U.S. citizens. What is a U.S. citizen?
You don't need to have a birth certificate to be a U.S. citizen. Like, in theory, it's gonna help. But, as long as you're born on U.S. soil, you're fine. You're a U.S. citizen. You don't really need the birth certificate. You should have one, because it's gonna be a nightmare going through life and all the bureaucratic stuff you have to as a person if you don't have those documents. But it doesn't mean you're not a citizen. It just will become hard to prove citizenship, which is an issue. I gotta get the cat real quick. He's fucking with a cord. Hey, buddy, stop it! Oh! Fenray91, thanks for 18 months, says not able to tune in live often, but your stream VODs are some of my favorite daily background entertainment. I'm really glad, thank you. Your sub baby's name is gonna be, sorry, I'm comfortable sitting on my tail. This sub baby's name is going to be Borgus Malfram.
Based out of Washington, D.C. And again, this is conspiracy theory stuff unless you can't prove it.
How would you even spell that? He's a baby. He doesn't need to know how to spell it.
Then you're just a blind automaton that's listening and following whoever you're being told to follow because you're just used to complying. For people who are actually intelligent enough to do the research, what you will find is that that corporate entity is no different than any other corporate entity other than they're operating under Article 1, Section 8, Clause 17 of the Constitution, which gives them plenary authority.
Are people having stream problems on YouTube? Is it on Twitch too, or is it just YouTube? Because I'm not having any notifications, and I am wired in. Although it could have come with the sound is really choppy. Twitch is fine. Okay. I don't know then.
Authority to conduct operations.
Maybe jump over to Twitch if you're on YouTube?
During times of war. Whoa, what do you mean times of war? Go look it up. We have different versions of our flag. Our peace flag has only flown for 3 years.
There is no, the peace flag thing he's talking about is not true. Oops. This is a thing some sovereign citizen group made up. I'm not sure when or why, but like this isn't a thing. Sovereign citizens believe this, but it's not true. It's basically the American flag, but the colors are inverted as a negative. It is very ugly. They claim that this is like the true peacetime American flag. It's not. They made it up. I don't know who specifically made it up, but someone did, and sovereign citizens started acting like it was some official thing. It isn't. It has never been.
The history of our United States.
It's like they created the creepypasta version of an American flag.
The flag that we have right now, the one with the red, white, and blue, is our war flag. And when you go into courts and you see this gold fringe over that flag, that literally in nautical or admiralty or maritime law, that dates back to when a pirate ship would take another ship. They would sew a gold fringe around it and hang it beneath their flag.
I don't think that's true, but that's regardless of the historicity of that pirate claim. Isn't what the gold fringe means on the American flag, whether you see it in court or anywhere else, as per the United States Flag Code, one of the only optional things on the flag is the gold fringe. You can have it, you cannot have it. Either way, it conforms to the flag code. It doesn't mean anything specific. It looks a little fancier, so often it'll get used in, like, ceremonial, like, purposes, in ceremonial situations. In courts, sometimes, again, because it's, like, ceremonial, you know, it's, like, in an official government thing. It's judicial. You know what I'm trying to say. But it doesn't mean anything. It's not trying to signal anything other than it just kind of looks fancier. That's it. It doesn't mean anything as per where it is located. It doesn't say anything about the court or jurisdiction. It's literally an aesthetic choice. That's it.
To show that they have taken this over. Well, doesn't that mean we're under admiralty law? Bingo. Why? It's very critical you understand why and how this all happened, okay? But when the states were formed in the Act of 1841, they modeled the exact borders of the countries or territories at the time. So when Washington, D.C. and all of the subsequent things were formed 1871, by that time, in that act, everybody had gotten essentially handed over to this corporate agency. So by 1933, okay, when that finally happened, our bankruptcy, and they took away the silver and the gold. When that
The United States has never been bankrupt.
happened, they also gave us House Joint Resolution 192, Public Law 7310. Go read those. It says that you have the right to discharge all debts, that all debts are property of the U.S. government, that corporate entity in D.C., because they're operating and making us use their foreign money, which is funny money, which is called U.S. dollars. Look up the definition of legal tender. Legal tender is not, it does not settle any debts. It's a promise to pay. So I don't care what you've purchased with those. You've never paid anything off.
I don't understand how they make these kind of claims about currency. You can buy goods and services with them and pay off your debts. It is currency. What do you think currency is? NSE3399, thanks for 3 months. Much appreciated. If you want to help support the stream, you too can become a subscriber on Twitch. Helps out the stream a lot, and also don't have to look at ads anymore. So consider it.
Good morning, friends. Well aware of the flag in the background. There's a reason for that. Those who know, know. Let's start.
That's an upside-down American flag, which is a signal that one is in distress, usually.
This off in the spirit of love and in the spirit of God in which it is offered. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Heavenly Father, please watch over us and bless us. Help us to be successful in all that we do. Allow us to receive this message in the spirit of love and wisdom and knowledge in which it is offered. In Jesus' name, amen. So, good morning, friends. What do I want to talk to you about today? I want to talk to you again about the Matrix. I want to be very clear about that. What is it? Well, again, we were brought up believing that government is government and that it is there to serve us. What we had no idea about is that it's literally just corporations. No different than Toys R Us, no different than any other company you can think of.
Nope, they're different. They're not private entities that exist for profit. So no, you're wrong. They're very different, both like on a day-to-day basis and legally. They function differently. They exist for different purposes. You're just wrong. Like, they're both groups of people coming together for some common cause. But the causes are different. They're not the same thing. They're not the same thing.
They are a for-profit entity. So what does that mean? That means they're out there to make money. A lot of other things that you've been lied to about. Okay? Do you know why you have to pay taxes? Because you agreed to.
In order to fund the government? One sec.
It when you signed your name. Do you understand that? That's why you have to pay taxes. It's because it's an agreement. Now, I don't give tax advice.
I mean, it's not an agreement as such. You didn't sign a contract. You're just beholden to that because you have rights, but you also have responsibilities, including paying taxes. If you don't like current tax policy, then you need to vote or try and work towards electing people who will change said tax policy.
I don't give legal advice, but any
What was signed, he would say your birth certificate.
Scholars out there that wish to debate me on this, by all means, go ahead and weigh in on this. People, what you don't understand is that the Bar Association, all of these attorneys in every state, they're out there trafficking us. Whether it's our children in family law courts or whether it's we as adults in these
He lost custody and he's salty about it.
bullshit municipal courts and traffic courts. Well, what do you mean by that? We actually have a right to travel. Supreme Court has ruled on this numerous times. It's without question.
They always say this. It's bewildering, and I think you build up an immunity to this over time. I know I have to some extent. But when people repeat the same message over and over and over, it becomes hard for your brain to go, well, that's not true, because a bunch of people are saying it. There's some part of human psychology that once you hear the same messaging over and over again, it at least makes your brain go, well, they must be basing that claim off something. They are not. Sovereign citizens will say all the time, oh, the Supreme Court has ruled on this, the Supreme Court has ruled on this. And it makes you crazy, because you go, how are they all saying this? And it's just based on nothing. It is based on nothing. The Supreme Court of the United States and of all the 50 states, none of the Supreme Courts, federal or states, have ever ruled that you do not need a driver's license. If the state requires you to have a driver's license, which all 50 states do, to drive on public roadways, then that's legal. That's lawful. The Supreme Court has never said otherwise. Period.
Every district attorney in every state is aware of this. How do I know that, and how can I say that with a straight face? Because one, they're officers of the court, and they may not claim ignorance of the law because of that, okay? And second, it's because they're making money off of it. Let me say it again, they're making money off of it. What do you mean by that? Well, you go look on their website. If there is an all caps name there, and there's a so-called crime, but there's no victim, guess what? It's a bullshit, fraudulent scheme. That's it.
Just a Peach says he probably is very salty that he lives someplace that walking sucks so much ass. This is the funny thing, because I think, unironically, the car-centric, like, civil design of America contributes to this problem, because sovereign citizens here, you have a right to travel, which you do have. The Supreme Court has ruled that you have a right to travel, but what that means is that you are offered equal protection in all 50 states, and you can't really be stopped at like a border crossing between states. Stuff like that. It does not mean you can travel by any means on any road. That's not what it means at all. But the United States is so car-centric, you tell people they can go from state to state or travel, and they cannot imagine traveling anywhere by any means other than car. I cannot highlight this enough for people who are not from the United States. In the United States, when people think about going anywhere, their primary thought is car. They do not think about walking places generally. We do not think about, like, public transport generally. If you are going somewhere, you are using a car. So travel is synonymous with cars in America, so it confuses them, I think. They don't understand, oh, this was written before all our civil infrastructure was done by cars, so it's irrelevant that that's the most convenient and, like, obvious form of transportation today.
They're out there vilifying people, pretending that we're criminals, so that the world at large believes that you have a criminal charge against you. Keeps you from getting jobs.
I'm very lucky in that I live in an area where I am within walking distance of, like, a ton of stuff. Like, a grocery store, a dispensary, like, everything's within walking distance. Those are the two things I need, groceries and marijuana.
Jobs keeps you basically from exercising your freedoms. And that's the intent, people. That's why it's set up like this. This is how they control us. They have one of their agents that they call officers, okay, but they're really corporate agents. They dress them up in a little uniform, they give them a badge, they give them a gun, and they say, go out here, and here's what you have to say when you stop them, and here's the reasons that you can stop them. This thing here called the Constitution that we teach you in your academy, we're only going to teach you what we want you to know, nothing more. We're going to have you believe that you have complete authority as soon as you put that badge on. You can violate anybody's civil rights with impunity, and guess what? Largely, when you do, we the prosecutors, we the judges, we're going to go ahead and back you. Why? Because you're our de facto civilian army. That's a fact. They're not there to serve us. They're there to fleece us. Now, I admire and respect what our law enforcement officers do, but it's time we start calling a spade a spade. They're not out there protecting us. They're out there to make money. Let me say it again. They're out there to make money.
I don't understand. There are certainly not great incentive sets in different police departments. For instance, like ticket quotas in certain police departments could incentivize cops to not just give warnings to as many people as they should or whatever. But sovereign citizens seem to operate with the idea that cops are making money off individual traffic stops, as if they make the money off your ticket, like the cop that pulls you over gets a commission. That's not how this works. That's not how any of this works. Is the auto industry and or the fossil fuel lobby the ones driving the anti-15-minute city stuff? Oh, I have no idea. Conspiracy theories start about all sorts of things, so who knows? I'm not going to watch this because we already watched this, but in case you haven't seen Chief Motto in his full regalia.
Good morning, friends. Chief Motto of the Motto tribe. I'm well aware.
The tribe he made up. He named it after himself because he's very humble. Stone Corbell says he was so close to ACAB, but then he had to throw in the I respect what cops do in there, like his brain was suddenly put back on the standard conservative dialogue tree.
They want to do. Marcus Ram, can you hear me?
Oh, is this a court hearing he did and filmed, which he probably wasn't supposed to do?
I'm here on that matter, yes, Judge.
And are you Marcus Ream?
I'm the executor of the estate of Marcus Troy Ream.
All right, well, I'm going to say that you are Marcus Ream. Otherwise, you have no business being in this court. Your matter is on for trial call today.
Why is he dressed like that? Do you think this guy's ever worked on a ranch? Do you think he's ever, like, roped some cattle? I don't know. I find Western aesthetic a little funny if you're not actually someone who does farm stuff.
Confirmed is my understanding. Mr. Albier, what's the state's request?
The boy is doing well, by the way. His swelling has gone down quite a bit. He's got a lot of his energy back. He seems good. He's doing good. That's not what you would wear on a farm or a ranch. Maybe if you owned it. I'm not even saying like you would wear this to do the work, but I'm saying you do the work, and then maybe you dress up nice, and this is what you look like. He just has a very Western ranch aesthetic, and I don't think that he's pulling it off, because look at his apartment.
I guess I don't see any permission for the defendant to appear over Zoom.
Oh, thanks, Orion Cooper. I hope you have a good day.
I guess at this point I would ask the court to treat it as a failure to appear and issue a bench warrant for about $2,500.
Objection.
So he's refusing to identify himself, and he's doing the typical sovereign citizen thing of being like, I'm the representative of, insert my name here. And they're trying to do a failure to appear bench warrant, which he is objecting to.
Court is already in possession of proof and evidence that I am the secured party creditor. I am the holder in due course of this asset.
I'll hear from you in a moment. I haven't asked to hear from you just yet, so just hold on. I'll hear from you in a second.
My apologies.
You were ordered to be in court, in person. That order was dated August 3rd. I did order you to
Was he supposed to show up in person and he refused to?
in person in courtroom 201 at 9 a.m. courtroom 201 this morning.
Is this courtroom 201?
No, but you're not here in person. This is courtroom 201 and 104.
Just wanted to ask for the record. Go ahead and tell me when it's my turn, sir.
Right, well, my first question...
By the way, this is random, but I forgot to do this before stream. I will do it after. I'm probably going to remove the wish list command and everything for a while. Because as generous as you all have been, and you have been very generous, I am literally running out of space for the movies you guys keep sending me. So until we have more space, or more shelves, or move to a different place, I probably can't really have more movies. So I do just want to point out, if you are looking for the wish list thing, I'm probably going to remove that, like, after stream, just because we got a lot. So thank you for everything. But if you're wondering where that went, it's gonna disappear, because I'm out of fucking space.
is why you're not here in person as you ordered to be.
Because the whole entire case, as you can see, as I put in the chat box, is already owned by the Motto Trust. There's the IRS.
Put a bigger house on the wish list. Yeah, that's how that works.
Approval 1099A. Also, this case has been removed to federal district court, which means that according to the UCC, which you guys are operating under, you guys are already prohibited from continuing in this case as is. So that being said, there is no lawful or legal reason that I could think of unless the prosecutor is contending that he has a case against me, a man. Is there a victim here?
The prosecutor is contending they have a case against you. That's why they're arraigning you.
Anybody like that? If not, then you guys are still trying to unlawfully
No, he's American.
manage in the state, which I am the owner of, and I can prove it. I have a UCC1 and a UCC3. The case in the indictment in Western Washington Federal Court includes 2 judges.
Why do these dorks think they're legal Sherlock Holmes? Because they're very special! They know more than most people. They're so smart.
With their Bar Association contract insurance numbers because they too violated my civil rights. I'm not playing with this. What I wanted the proper...
That's not how you use a 1099A. Yeah, I think he wants to be compensated for his time, which is why I think he's asking for that, because that's like a tax document for... I want to say that's for a certain kind of contracting work.
back.
Because a typical 1099 is for income generated from contract work, I believe.
I'd like you guys to go ahead and get on with your lives, but we're not going to pretend that somehow or another that I've ever caused harm to any other person. If you cannot produce that person, which is my Sixth Amendment right, then the prosecutor is bringing a claim for which no relief can be granted. So I move for immediate dismissal of all charges with prejudice due to facts on the record, as well as the inability to bring any case for which relief can be granted. Silence is acquiescence in my court. Mr. Prosecutor, do you
In his court. It's his court.
have any
A
evidence
1099A is for abandoned property? Okay, I don't know then. I have no idea.
of any crime or any injury?
Mr. Reed, no, you're not questioning the prosecutor. And I've heard what you had to say. Your motion is denied. Most of everything that you're saying is total and complete nonsense. UCC does not apply at all in any criminal matter whatsoever.
Objection.
There's no reason for you not to be here today.
I am here, Judge, making a special divine appearance.
Mr. Reed,
Ooh, a divine appearance. Look at all that radiant energy.
speak. Now it's my turn.
Yeah,
Go
he
ahead.
should have his hat off. That's true. Even though it's Zoom court, you're supposed to take your hat off. Kind of surprised the judge hasn't asked him to do that.
You were here in August. You were ordered to be here in person for your jury trial today.
Objection.
You were not present. You were ordered to be here. There's been no ruling in your case whatsoever.
Hey,
No
Nemesaur.
status of
How's it
the
going?
fact This is an ongoing criminal matter, and your personal appearance was ordered today, and you've chosen not to be here for a variety, whatever your reasons are. Nothing changes my opinion or the court's order that you were to be here today in person.
For the record, all charges are accepted for value on the record.
I'm still
Discharge and zeroed out. All charges are accepted for value. You will be added individually to that indictment if you violate my civil rights. I will say it again for the third time. All charges are accepted for value. Discharge and zero the accounts. Now,
All right, good. I'm glad to hear you say what you have to say. You have not answered the question to my satisfaction as to why you're not here.
state your name.
Person in court, Mr. Ray, would you please stop interrupting me? I'm not interrupting you.
Well, I hope you got like a cookie or something, Nemesaur, to get your
You're not
blood
here in
sugar
person.
back up or
You've
whatever.
not satisfied me in any way,
Or is
shape,
that
or
different? Is donating platelets different?
form as to why you should not be here in person for this criminal matter.
Objection. Have you read the record? Can you please state your name?
I understand you've made an objection, Mr. Reed, and your objection was duly noted.
I have a right to know your name.
What's the state's request?
Public agent, what is your name?
Public agent, what is your name?
What's the state's request?
President is clearly not interested in following any court order
Ashley, what do you want me to look up in Black's Law Dictionary? Pro se? Okay.
being disruptive. I think a bench warrant's appropriate due to his non-appearance in person in violation of the court's order. Ask the court to issue a bench warrant amount of $5,000.
They're
All
gonna...
charges are accepted for value. Discharge and zero out the account for the record. All cases are dismissed for the record unless the prosecutor can produce.
Wow, he's trying to dismiss his own case. He's not even, like, requesting a dismissal. He's just saying, this case is dismissed. That's not how that works. You're not allowed to dismiss your own case. There'd be very few cases if you could dismiss your own case. I think the court's docket would probably clear out pretty quick if that's how that worked.
Produce an injured party. Can he do that? Silence is acquiescence in my court. Failure to produce that now means that all charges are dismissed on the record. I have two witnesses standing here per UCC as well as canon law. You may not ignore that.
Canon law is the law of the Catholic Church. I don't think it applies here, for the record.
You gentlemen do not have immunity for actions that have done outside of your authority. This is a commercial matter. You're trying to pretend it's criminal.
Ooh, proletariat's in here.
You have no victim. This is to say nothing of the fact that, Mr. Prosecutor, do you have a license to practice law as is required by state law? No, you're all foreign corporate agents operating out of a corporation based out of Washington, D.C., and I'm a de jure American gentleman who has proven that and has filed upon the public record.
Pro se, for himself, is the literal definition. In his own behalf, in person, appearing for oneself, as in the case of one who does not retain a lawyer and appears for himself in court. A fool. I may have added that last one.
The fact that I have an authenticated and apostille birth certificate. So that means that I have verified proof on the record that I am in fact the executor of an estate that you are still here trying to unlawfully manage. You've gone out and filed unlawful bonds against this estate, and I demand that those be returned immediately. The 1099-Bs, which is the copper that is stamped on the documents, it's now part of the record. And to answer your question, Mr. Judge, who won't give me your name, it's in the court record if you read the document. I appointed the last judge as trustee in this matter. He failed to respond. So in your own court record, there is evidence of the fact that you guys have zero authority to move forward. And that's why on Friday, I filed the notice of default. You guys are in default in a case you don't even own. And I just put the evidence into the chat box, which again is going to be retained for the indictment. You guys were again given notice on the record that you must cease and desist. If you continue with this racketeering operation, again, you have no immunity. I can and will attach everything you own privately. Try me. Again, if you think I'm kidding, go look in the indictment. It's in Western Washington Federal District Court right now.
Threatening to take everything the judge and the prosecutor own is probably not the big brain strategy for your own defense that you think it is. You're basically threatening them, and that doesn't usually go well.
That's all I have to say on this matter. Again, for the record...
Why won't they mute him? In fairness, we're only seeing his perspective. He may be muted, and he's just yelling. We don't know. I've seen sovereign citizen videos before where they get muted and they don't realize, and they are just going while the judge is doing something else.
All charges are accepted for value, dismiss, and zero out the bonds.
Your motion's denied.
See, that's one of the things I like about Zoom Court, just a peach. It's convenient for some people. Like, some people can't afford to get a ride, especially in areas where there isn't good public transit, so I think Zoom Court makes sense. Don't get me wrong, not everyone can be in Zoom Court, not everyone can take it seriously the way they should, not everyone is going to be respectful like they should in the situation, so, like, there are situations where they aren't granted that privilege. But I do think it's a wonderful thing that we can do Zoom Court for people who are cooperative and are able to do that. There's a lot of court things that are pretty short, too, that it doesn't necessarily make sense to make someone get up and go all the way to the courthouse for a 5-minute hearing. Yeah, good for the disabled, too. Yeah, YouTube, I heard, is hiccuping. So if you do end up wanting to, you can jump over to Twitch at twitch.tv/Hannah Reloaded. Twitch is going well. Not sure what's going on with YouTube.
Motion, it's an order.
You don't order.
Oh my god, he's lighting a joint! That's not even a cigarette. That's a joint. That's a roach, basically. Do not light a joint in court! God!
At the court, Mr. Reeves, I'm sorry to tell you how things work.
Is this a court of record?
My question now is whether or not I'm going to issue a bench warrant for your arrest. Or
Could be a roll-up cig. It was not. The burn on it was very different. I have seen self-rolled cigarettes. The paper is normally different. It looked like he had rolled that with a raw brand cone. Like, I recognize the rolling paper he used. That was a marijuana roll.
whether or not I'm going to give you a summons for you to...
Average travel to court in the area would be over 2 hours. Oh yeah, that's ridiculous. Zoom Court's a great thing.
appear here in person.
Would you like me to be there? I can be there in 1 hour if you would like. But again, I'm going to have the 1099 Bravo for you, showing how much this court now owes my foreign grantors trust
1099B?
in interest. Because this is a real estate matter that has been filed in the Pierce County record in real estate, which means the court cannot claim that they were put on official notice. So I have multiplied that times 200, any and all fees associated with this case, which again, there is nothing owed. I got to be clear about
Eleonora, thank you so much for subscribing with Prime. I appreciate it.
that. So there could be no clearer case for racketeering and extortion here, gentlemen. There is no reason whatsoever, after all charges have been accepted by the actual lawful heir and executor of this estate, that you should proceed any further, unless, of course, it's a Native American Black Messianic Jewish thing, because I wore my
Black Messianic Jewish thing. Indigenous Black Messianic Jewish is how he identifies. Does this man look like a black indigenous person to you?
official religious headpiece in your so-called court of law. If you are not an official court of record with a seal and an actual person sitting there taking that record, gentlemen, then I think, again, you should be well aware of the fact that's a direct violation.
1099B is proceeds from a broker and barter exchange? Well, I don't know what the fuck he's talking about then.
Of 18 U.S.C., the criminal code. And under section 240...
Who's recording him? I don't know. His wife left him, so I do not know who's recording.
41 and 242.
It's not a tripod, because there's a little bit of a natural bob. I don't know how much you can tell, but the camera is not still. It's got a little bit of that motion that happens when someone holds the camera, even if they're trying to hold it still. A little bit of, you know, up and down motion. So I have no idea who's filming this. Does he have kids? Yes, but they were taken away from him. The mom got custody. So...
under color of law, you may not violate my civil rights. There is no immunity for acts performed outside of your jurisdiction. That is a very well-established case of law, gentlemen, whether or not we are in equity or you are in law. And I again demand equity on the record. All charges.
Jason Proxy says, it took me a while, but I found the case in Knox v. Lee. The court ruled, dissented by Salmon P. Chase, the bank was named after him, states, and obviously non-state entities, could not mint their own money. I know we're way past the time of him talking about money, but he's wrong about everything, and I took the time to cite why he was wrong. Thank you. See, that's one of the reasons this stuff is so frustrating, is because they'll gish gallop you with, like, 20 different citations to different case law all at once, and you can guarantee that they got all of those case law wrong, but you still have to go through and be like, what are you talking about here? What are you talking about here? What are you talking about here? It wastes everyone's time. Frustrating.
Charges are accepted for value, dismiss them, and zero out the account, or provide evidence on the record how you have any lawful authority over me, a man. According to Section 302, Public Law 94-241, I hereby declare again publicly my intention to be a national, but not a citizen of the United States. End of discussion.
Thank you for ending that.
Oh, there's he's lighting it again. Stop it.
Listen to you now. All your emotions.
I think it's unprofessional to smoke weed on stream. I wouldn't even do that shit unless it was 420. And this motherfucker's in court lighting up. That's absurd. I can't believe it.
You're denied. Your matter is going to be reset for trial. You're going to be here in person.
Is he not on camera? I don't know. Normally the court makes you turn the camera on.
Refuse to contract with you. Are you making me another offer for yourself or somebody else? All charges have already been accepted. This has been dismissed. You've been given proof on the record that I own this case. So are you making me another offer for yourself or somebody else, Mr. Judge? State your name for the record. As well as your bar association number so that I can add your corporation that you practice under to this indictment for sitting there trying to practice law from the bench, which is also another offense, as you should well know. Why?
Yeah, they're trying to get him down to court so they might not be pushing the issue so that he won't be less inclined to come down because they want to arrest him for contempt.
As officers of the court cannot claim ignorance. So please give me your name and bar association number, public servant. Are you going to give me your name?
I'm not listening to you right now, Mr. Raymond. I'm looking for a date for your next trial date. So you've been talking on and on and on.
I conditionally accept your offer.
I've been only patient to hear you ramble on. I've denied your motions and your nonsensical arguments that all have to do with civil proceedings, of which this is not.
What is this proceeding, sir?
Bottom line, Mr. Rain, is you are not here in person as you were to be here in August. So we're going to reset your trial date. That your trial period recommences for your failure to appear. We're going to set you back for.
Objection. I do not agree to contract with you. Are you making me another offer for yourself or somebody else?
Not an offer.
Back, Mr. Rain, for a trial called in person on November 14th at 9 a.m. for 201.
Your offer is conditionally accepted if you can provide proof of evidence. Or
was this child support? Was this guy about child support? I know he lost his kids. It might have been. I don't remember. I know he's super salty about the divorce, and he's super salty about losing his kids. So I'm not sure if this particular case is about child support.
Proof of claim on the record.
Will result in your bench warrant being issued and for your arrest.
Objection. Here, officially, I am now accusing you of treason by sedition.
I'm accusing you of treason. I've done it. Consider yourself accused, chat.
See you back November 14, 9 a.m.
J'accuse.
You're being charged.
In person. Your failure to appear will result in a bench warrant being issued for your arrest.
This is going on my Rumble channel as well, by the way, gentlemen.
Your Rumble channel, I'm so scared. That's pathetic when people say they're putting something on YouTube. You went to Rumble? That's sad. Fenry, Black's Law Dictionary request. Is dunce in there? If not, page 6, last definition. I will do my best to find it.
We'll see you on November 14.
Objection. I do not consent to contract with you. Are you making me another offer for yourself or somebody else?
We'll see you on November 14, or if you're not here, we'll issue a bench warrant.
All charges are accepted for value, discharge, and zero out the accounts.
You're being disconnected now. Good day.
Accept.
Man, he really thought he cooked there. That's a shame. That's a shame. Speaking of deadbeats, real quick, let's take a look at this guy. This is the gentleman. His channel's name is Child Support is Fraud. He's a huge deadbeat, and his whole grift is telling other deadbeats that actually it's legal to be a deadbeat. It is not. You have to pay your child support. So he lies to people and claims they don't, using sovereign citizen tactics.
For taking your money? Have you walked outside of one of these buildings feeling defeated and not knowing what the hell just happened inside of this building? Is child support suspending your driver's license? Illegal.
It's not illegal. Sorry, dunce is not in here. So you said page 6, final definition?
Child support suspending your passport. Illegal.
Incorrect. Again, he's just saying stuff. You ever have a thing where people are just saying stuff, especially if they sound really confident? Question them, including myself in that, by the way. Final definition, page 6, abjuration of the realm. Ooh, sounds mystical. Abjuration of the realm. In ancient English law, a renunciation of one's country, a specific self-imposed banishment under an oath never to return to the kingdom unless by permission. So it's basically a fancy Albion way of saying you're self-deporting, you're renouncing your citizenship. Abdication of the realm! Sorry, I think some of these pages are... There we go.
Is child support reporting on your credit report illegal?
It's not illegal. Pay your child support, you piece of shit.
They know it. They count on you not knowing the law. They count on you walking inside of one of those courtroom hearings.
If you ever hear a pitch and this is the music in the background, it's a scam.
I'm
just gonna put that out there. This is basically the default scam music.
Knowing the law, making a general appearance, and giving them jurisdiction over you.
They have jurisdiction over you. That's how the law works. It's de facto.
They count on it and they know it's illegal. My name is Lionel Tillman. I am the author of How I Stop Child Support Legally. My new book is a step-by-step blueprint to how I stop child support legally. From when I found about child support, what I did afterwards, what I filed in court, and how I got...
Average Fresh and Fit podcast fan. Whatever happened with, I don't remember if it was Fresh or Fit. I don't know which is which. One of them got a lady pregnant and was, like, super upset about it. How'd that turn out? Do we have any updates on that? And he was trying to, like, get her to have an abortion? That was fucked up, man.
Myself remedy. I represented myself.
And, like, she didn't want to, and he was like, you need to, though. It's fucked up.
2-year hearing against child support.
She had a miscarriage, unfortunately. That sucks.
And got my case dismissed for extrinsic fraud. Fraud, it is not the same. Many people have got their case dismissed, but their case was not dismissed for fraud. I also have a masterclass, How to Get Started Masterclass. It breaks down step by step on what I did to get the process started. It doesn't matter where you are in the process in your case. The How to Get Started Masterclass is the step-by-step process that needs to happen in order to attack those arrears. It don't matter if your case is 50 years old, 20 years old, 10 years old, 1 year old, or just ain't started just yet.
When he says case, you could also say child. When your child is 1 year old, 3 years old, 10 years old, you can be a deadbeat dad no matter what. Just don't pay it, fucking asshole.
How to Get Started Masterclass is the process that you must take to attack those arrears. You have to use their evidence against them. That's what I did. You can't wiggle out of your own evidence. That's the process. Jurisdiction can be challenged at any time.
It can be challenged, and they're gonna say, okay, we checked, we have it, thanks for asking.
There's no untimely with fraud. Childsupportisfraud.com though. But please, take care of them kids, man. Because this ain't no get out of jail free card.
Come on, man. I'm gonna try and get you out of child support, but like, yeah, you should take care of the kids, I guess, or whatever. Wink. If you want to take care of those kids either way, this shouldn't be a problem for you. What a liar.
Just on their ass.
What a piece of crap. Here he is again.
It's always someone in the comments or on the lives saying, I didn't get served, I didn't sign a birth certificate, I didn't sign anything, but yet I'm on child support and they're garnishing my wages. I didn't sign nothing, but yet I'm on child support. I didn't receive nothing, yet they're taking my money.
What do you mean? You were... Okay, the joke I was about to make was gross. What do you mean you received nothing? You had a kid. Like, if you don't want to raise that kid, okay, but you're gonna end up having to pay child support, most likely.
Would I educate people on most likely, and that sounds like a default judgment, because when they open these cases, there's a procedure that they must follow.
Email, thanks for the $5 tip. I appreciate it.
Somewhere in those documents, child support told the courts that they served you and you neglected to respond. So therefore, they entered a default judgment. I had a default judgment.
Oh, you should probably have dealt with that then.
Why? Because child support allegedly served me at a house, which I later proved it was a vacant house. Nobody lived there. So I didn't know about the case. I didn't receive the summons. But child support told the courts that I was served and that I neglected to respond, so they presumed that I agreed with what was filed, and therefore they entered a default judgment.
So that's a procedural issue that I would imagine they would deal with for you if you're able to prove that. That doesn't mean you shouldn't pay for your kid, man.
Is that true? Does that sound, is it starting to hit home? It sounds like something that took place in your situation?
I would imagine not most of the time. I don't think that's the typical procedure for this kind of thing. Is he under the impression that most of the time they fail to serve people at their house or wherever they are?
They love default judgments. They love default judgments. Default judgments are entered by fake judges.
What do you mean fake
They don't
judges?
even have to give it to a real judge because
What?
that person didn't show up for whatever reason. Whether they forged the signature and said that a person was served, or they actually served someone and the person just say, for whatever reason, didn't go to an actual hearing. They love default judgments. They love default judgments. The default judgment is equivalent to a failure to appear in a traffic hearing. And ironically, because they're the same, neither one of them is actually real court. Traffic court, child support court is not court.
Is that a book behind him? Yes, he sells a book.
These are hearings. These are
His whole career is selling this idea to deadbeat dads to try and convince them they don't have to pay for their kid.
These are administrative proceedings. Respectfully, these proceedings can be held at McDonald's. You get 3 no-call, no-shows. They can have a hearing. Hey, Mr. Such and Such, Mrs. Such and Such, remember the contract that you signed when you said you wanted to work here? We gave you our procedures and how we ran things here. You got 3 no-call, no-shows. It's the same process. It is not court. These child support
It's
proceedings.
not the same process. One is a private company. The other is the law.
Are held by attorneys acting as temporary judges, and you must consent to that. But if a person doesn't show up on their own will or because
Where's the rep for deadbeat moms? Certainly exists. Less so than the other, though.
child support didn't follow their own procedures and go through the process of service correctly, there's a default judgment. There's a default judgment. So just be mindful. The way I was able to even discover how they entered the default judgment, I went back to the very beginning of my case and got those documents to see who filed what, who signed what, when was it filed, X, Y, and Z. There was no way that I could have challenged jurisdiction until I had those documents in my hand. ChildSupportIsFraud.com. But take care of them kids, though, man.
That's so funny that seems to be how he ends all his videos. Almost like to cover up for the fact that his whole enterprise is based around being a huge piece of shit. He's got to be like, okay, but like the thing we're doing here, don't really do that. It's like even he knows he's a scumbag. Oh, what a shame. Oh, this is a weird one. These are a couple of sovereign citizens. We may have seen them before. I'm not sure. They sound familiar. But they're known sovereign citizens, and they're about to get arrested because they are trespassing on someone's property. They're claiming that they're buying the property, so that's why they're there, but it's not their property, and the owner wants them gone. So I don't know the whole background story behind this. I do not know what the actual working relationship between them and the owner is, or was. Very strange. You did not miss the Lambo guy, Moss Sloth, no.
Based on the person who owns it. So we have an agreement with the person who owns it to take this property. Do you guys have any agreement with the person who owns it to take this property?
So are you going to let me talk, or are you going to keep talking?
There's nothing to talk about. You guys are trespassing right now. We're in closing. We own the property, and this happened just yesterday, and I had to...
They don't own the property. Hold on, let me make sure this is part 1, because that actually looks like it's a little bit into the thing. No, okay, I think this is it then.
create an understanding with
Black's Law Dictionary. What do you want me to look up, nearest Crowhill?
that sheriff who agreed with me by the end of it.
But I wasn't here yesterday, so
I'm
I'm
not
just
interested.
trying to find out
You're here
what's going
today,
on.
and you're trespassing here now.
I am not, and I already
You
explained to
are.
why I'm not. No,
Is this your property?
it's not. But I'm here to serve a lawful purpose. We're
What's the
investigating
lawful
the matter,
purpose?
Okay,
Who gave a lawful
You got
order, and
called.
what order are you fulfilling right now?
by the owner that you guys are not supposed to be here.
And
Right.
what is their name?
What is their name?
What is the owner's name?
Why do you
if there's
keep-
somebody
Drew Nielsen says, wait, what's happening? The people holding the camera are sovereign citizens who are on this property. It is not their property. They're claiming it is. It is not. Let me look up children.
claiming
Sure.
that my property is owned by someone else, please tell me their name.
What is
Who
your name?
claimed it? I don't need to identify myself, sir. You came onto my property.
Is there a reason
So-
why you're flagging?
Again, this is not their property.
The actual homeowner said that you don't have permission to be here.
Okay, and what is their name, please? If they've made a report, please tell me
It's in the fire area, and they use a lot of squatter language. Gotcha. Maybe they're trying to use adverse possession. I don't know.
their name.
What about my
We
safety?
are here to investigate suspicious activity.
You're making me feel unsafe, sir.
Okay.
So if you could please not walk up behind me and flank me. If you could just like...
Please don't flank me. Don't flank me, bro!
stay out in the public area.
This is
What we got? They've been advised, yes?
Yeah, the homeowner said that they want him removed.
But they will.
All right, we do have child in here. Child, progeny, offspring of a parentage, unborn or recently born human being. Wilson v. Weaver, at common law, one who had not attained the age of 14 years, though the meaning now varies in different statutes, e.g. child labor, support, criminal, etc. statutes. The term child or children may include or apply to adopted, afterborn, or illegitimate child, stepchild, child by second or former marriage. See also delinquent child, disobedient child, foster child, illegitimate child, infancy, juvenile, minor, neglected child, person, posthumous child, viable child. For negligence of child, see parental liability.
Won't tell me the name of the homeowner since I'm under contract. It's interesting, there's another homeowner who I'm under contract with, but they won't tell me the name. I absolutely do, but I don't need to prove my innocence to you. I'm not doing anything. I'm on my...
Marcel Paul, thanks for a 10-stream streak, says even illegitimate and delinquent children. That's what it says. Yeah, the name of the guy who's in this video, his name is Paul Unslaved, is what he goes by.
property.
What is your name?
I don't need to identify myself.
That's where you're wrong.
Actually, I'm not. I'm not doing anything wrong.
Right now, you're
I'm here on my... Sir, I'm here on my... I'm on my...
Okay, so
it's my
then
property.
could you issue the advisement?
Yeah, we'll get you.
Could you give us the written advisement? And then once we get the written advisement, we'll leave.
Yep.
And then we'll contact the property owners.
Yes.
Because we're under contract right now and we are agreed with them.
So what's your
Okay,
name?
if you're under contract, why are they calling the cops on you? That doesn't make sense. This reminds me of how some sovereign citizens will do the silence is consent thing, and they'll like write up what they think is a contract and send it to someone, and then if they don't respond within 2 or 3 days or whatever, they're like, ha, you have consented to the contract because you didn't refute it. I'm wondering if they did something like that. Like if, I don't know, like Just a Peach said that this is in the fire area, like an area where the wildfires are happening. I don't know if they went on this property and sent a letter to the actual owners, hoping they would be out of town to be away from the fires, and like just hoped that that would allow them to take over the property. I don't know. I don't know. Either way, it's definitely not something they're allowed to be doing.
I don't have to give you anything.
You do actually. So here's a cool deal. You be cool with me. I'll be cool with you.
It's not about being cool. It's about upholding rights in the law, sir.
Okay, the law
We're not at the
is-
bar.
Here's the law.
Yeah.
The law is right now we were told that you are not allowed to be on this property.
Well, we
Please
just
tell
made
me-
an agreement.
Sir,
That I
let
am.
me finish real quick.
Okay.
We've been told by the people who own this property, hold on a second, that you guys are not allowed to be here. With that being said, if you guys aren't allowed to be here, that's criminal trespass. We will issue a criminal trespass notice. If you are under contract, what that tells me is you do not currently have the right to be on the property. The contract is in negotiation. If you're negotiating about buying the property, once the contract is completed, then you now possess the property and you can come and go as you please.
Sir, I've been on this property investing money into it to make sure utilities, so I'm allowed to be on the owners are allowing me to be on the property then to pay for...
Okay, but like clearly they're not, because they called the cops on you, so they're not allowing you to be here.
stuff
Okay.
to have it fixed,
So
but
here's
I'm
the
not
deal
allowed
then.
on it
So here's the
now.
deal. If you guys give us your
They
name,
don't understand you don't own something until the sale goes through. Yeah, I'm very confused because they are both saying they are working on buying it and that they are under contract and they are saying they own it. Are they in the middle of buying it or do they own it? Because it can't be both. Property transactions go under a period of escrow where like everything is being finalized and all the sort of T's are being crossed and the I's are being dotted. During that period, just because you put in your offer and you're under escrow, that doesn't mean you own the property already. You don't own the property until you close escrow and actually sign all the documents. So, like, what are they talking about?
names.
We don't need to.
Give me a second, ma'am. Let me finish. If you give us your names, we will contact the owner and say, look, these are the people that are on this property. Are you under contract with them? Are you willing to let these people right? Because right now, all we have is two people, a male and a female, on our property that we have. Obviously, you guys aren't giving us your name, so we can't help you.
Okay, well, you
so the
can
best we
communicate.
can do is tell you to leave.
Sounds like they're trying to do adverse possession by making upgrades to the property and making a claim that way. Ah.
Your name.
I didn't know that was part of a claim. I don't know what state this is. You said where the wildfires are. Is this California? I don't know adverse possession laws in California. They're pretty strict here in Michigan. In Michigan, I'm pretty sure with adverse possession, you need to, like, pay the property taxes for, like, 15 years. It's, like, a lot. It's nearly impossible, but I don't know California's.
Then we can contact the homeowner.
Fair enough.
We'll be in contact.
Are you willing to contact them and let them?
We'll contact them right now.
Are you willing to make them aware that the second party in the contract to own this property is here doing inspection on the utilities as is agreed upon?
Well, again, I will make that contact. If you guys give me your names, we'll contact them right now.
Well, no, you could just let them know that. And if they say that they don't trust that and they think somebody's...
Just a peach says, I'm investing in this land as the squatter stuff. Lying,
well, then they can issue the trespass order. You could give us the notice and we'll be on our way. And then maybe we decide that we don't want the property at that point, since they want to trespass the prospective owners off the land.
Right handy. Your unit's closest. Yeah, grab one from real quick, please.
It's kind of odd that the owners of the property who want to sell it would tell us we can't be here when we're under, as you say, contract.
Well, no, you guys said contract. I don't know what you guys are going to.
Yeah, we're under contract. It means we made a lawful...
Yes, I've already put...
One second, Jennifer. We made a lawful agreement between two consenting parties.
And there's nothing wrong with that, but what the problem is when it comes to agreement at that point in time, without any physical paperwork that we can see, it doesn't mean crap to us.
I understand that, but you're here to fulfill the lawful order. That means the other side has to give it. If not, then you're claiming to be the interested party in this property. Do you have any interest or equity in this property?
That's not what we're saying.
Why does is he under the impression that the cop just saw someone here and was like, I'm gonna go trespass them? Like he's in disbelief that the property owner is trespassing them, so they think the cop just did it for fun?
Okay, well, I'm interested in the maxims of law, not everyone's interpretation. So whoever has interest and equity in this property...
His interpretations are the maxims of law. Your interpretations are just that.
...has the right to possess it or to upkeep and maintain it.
He's got a criminal trespass notice, so we'll need your information. We'll put it on the notice, and you guys can go ahead and leave at that point in time. You've been notified by the criminal trespass notice.
Okay, yeah, again, you don't need any information.
So here's the deal. Okay, right now we're investigating a criminal trespass.
17
you guys don't cooperate, give us your names. We have the right at that point in time to take you into custody and arrest you. All we're looking for is your name, date of birth, so we can put on the criminal trespass notice. We'll give you the notice. You guys are free to leave.
Okay, well, why don't you do what you already agreed to on camera and go and contact the prospective...
Okay, but I've got to have your names.
Okay, well, you can let him know your given name, right? And then he can tell them what your given name is. And if they say they want to trespass, the woman's given name is on that paperwork, and we could go from there.
Jennifer, what's your last name?
Should I give them my name?
You can give him your given name. Okay. Why not? He's claiming that
Jennifer
the other...
Berkowitz.
Berkowitz? Can you spell Berkowitz for me, please?
B-E-R.
B-E-R.
K-O-W.
K-O-W.
I-T-Z.
And now you understand that...
And
your date of birth, man.
I don't see why
I don't see why I need my date. That's not even on any of the paperwork. They know my name. They know my name.
We'll start with your name.
Just
the criminal trespass notice, we'll go from there.
Okay? They know my name, so please call them and tell them Jennifer Berkowitz is on the property.
I will take care of that. I know how to do my job. Just give me a minute.
Thank you, sir.
Can you contact the property owner of this residence or this location and see if Jennifer Berkowitz is allowed to be on the property.
60 advised her unreadable.
You want to run it off your unit?
What's up?
Jennifer Berkowitz off your unit. So you guys looking to buy in this place then, obviously, if you're
No, we're already in
contract.
we're in contract. We're already settled on it, right?
Yeah.
So unless they renegotiate or they back out at this point, it's
Oh
already
yeah,
fine.
Jay's a proxy. What do you want me to look up? Oh, adverse possession.
So we're in the middle of evacuation notice, obviously, because of the fire that's
We're not going to use we're not going to use
I'm-
fear and safety in order to take rights and freedom of
I'm
personal
not
choice.
saying you guys have to.
I am aware of the I'm aware of the
I just
event.
wasn't sure if you guys are aware of the
I'm
evacuation.
totally aware, sir. Thank you for keeping everyone's really safe.
Yeah, I feel
Appreciate
very
you.
safe right now.
I feel so safe.
Like I feel really safe having you here.
I can't remember the last time I
protecting
felt
us
this safe.
on my property. I feel very safe.
It's not your property!
And please understand.
She's so confident, it almost makes me wonder, like, has the guy lied to her and implied to her that this is more, like, final than it actually is? Like, I don't know. She just seems quite confident, and he seems a little trickier about it. Like, has he implied things to her that aren't true? Am I crazy?
Understand also, if we contact that buyer and they didn't contact you first and you just made this all up on camera, then you and I are going to have some issues at court.
Again, like, he thinks the cop's just making up a trespass for no reason? That's insane. That's insane. Like, the cops just saw a guy in the woods with his wife and was like, I'm gonna go harass those guys and trespass them for no particular reason. Adverse possession, a method of acquisition of title to real property. Real property is like property, like land. By possession for statutory period under certain conditions, Lowry versus Garfield County. Because of the statute of limitations on the bringing of action for the recovery of land, title can be acquired to real property by adverse possession. In order to establish title in this matter, there must be proof of non-permissive use, which is actual, open, notorious, exclusive, and adverse for the statutorily prescribed method. So basically, you can't do it in secret. You gotta be open about it and be like, hey, here I am, adversely possessing this property. Anyone care?
Yeah, I know you guys love it.
Yeah,
This is what you're into, ego and pride games, right?
No, sir. No, sir.
Yeah, we'll get you on record.
We've got better things to do than come bother you.
I would
guys
hope so,
without-
sir.
without
I
that.
want to believe we're all Americans and that we all have the same common bonds and loyalties to the same ideas of what this place is supposed to be about. I would hope that's the case, right? But I haven't had that
In
much.
fairness to him, America was founded on going onto other people's property and just kind of taking it. So I do get where he might have that impression.
Much experience with folks in uniform who have that countenance, right? It seems that we've gotten a little bit lost in what our duties and obligations are, principles,
When you
values.
say we, who are you talking about?
I'm saying in the majority of folks, myself at one time in my life, right, in my past, and the majority of folks who I meet in present day, in uniform or out, are lacking in accountability and responsibility and understanding of what right from wrong is and the difference between legal and lawful. So that's what I do day to day. It's become my career as such.
That's good.
So, you know, I guess we're both upholding the law, rights, freedom, and principles in our own way, in or out of uniform. So we have a common bond. I want to believe that.
We're good.
Literal cricket noises.
So it seems he's just running my name, not calling the owner.
Again, yeah, like I just told him, man, I just gave him lawful notice. If he's here under false pretenses and making this up, that the homeowner, quote unquote, which is you apparently under contract, doesn't want you here.
I just heard him tell him to run my name.
No, I can't interpret
Okay.
that.
So we contacted the homeowner with your name. He said that he does not know who you are, and you do not have permission to be on the property.
Oh, that's fascinating.
That
You
is
did rather
fascinating.
quickly.
Because I'm going
He doesn't know who you are. Jesus.
to contact my realtor
Could
right
you
now.
call them right now, please?
Yeah, I'm going to
and
actually
then we're
call
gonna
them.
get legal. You have no reason to believe we just came up on this property and we're hanging around. We just brought a hose here. We're fixing the
Look up
property
to
up and
them.
we're investing and we're doing inspection.
At this point
It's
in time,
absurd and
the
ridiculous.
homeowners do not-
You're individually doing your own inspection? That's not how this works. You can't do the inspection on the property yourself. That's not how that works.
Want you on the property.
And I
You're
would like
claiming
to
that.
speak
We have no
to
reason
them.
to believe that.
I think
You act as if I
have a
trust
right
what
to-
you say
right.
implicitly.
I
I have
would
no
please-
reason to know what you're doing and not doing.
Your options are.
You're
Now,
no.
here you go. Your
here-
options are do this
You
or
want me
else.
to
That's
believe
the
you? Wait,
definition.
can I say something?
Just
They
don't
want
make it
me
loud,
to.
Jennifer.
They
Don't
want me
make
to believe. You want me to believe you that you just talked to the owner. Yet you're not going to believe me that I'm the property owner and I'm under contract. Why should I believe you, but you are not believing me? Please do it in front of me so I can have trust in you.
That is so bizarre that she assumes the trust relationship is equivalent on both sides of this equation and that they're equal in terms of how much trust they must be granted to each other. It's interesting.
supposed to feel safe, and I don't trust you. Please.
That's where they don't understand radios. Like she wants him to call the homeowner on the radio. Yeah.
Just do it in
The homeowner also has a police radio somewhere. Copy that, Chief.
front of me, and then I can bring it up with my realtor and the owners, because I'm not going to want the property since I've already put money into it. We go to closing in a few weeks. So if you could please...
Okay, if you're closing in a few weeks, then you don't own the property. Okay, so I have a house. I went through buying property. There was a period of like 3 or 4 weeks between me giving them like the money, like the down payment and all the like the, you know, the closing costs and stuff, all whatever. I gave them the money. The bank agreed to the loan. It went into this escrow period. If during that period I had gone to the house and been like, knock, 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 just hanging out on the property I don't own yet, yeah, that's fucking weird. Go away. What if hypothetically they got scammed? Some stranger tried to sell a home they don't own and got duped thinking they paid for it but didn't? That would be pretty interesting. I'm doubtful, but it would be interesting.
Me so I can have some trust in the people who are supposed to protect and serve me, which is what it says all over the sheriffs. You're supposed to protect and serve me. I don't feel safe. If you're going to be doing this, please let me trust you and do it in front of me. You want me to believe you?
Yeah, there's no reason we all can't be open and honest and transparent here, unless you guys
I will be transparent if
unless
you
guys
are.
have something to hide. I mean,
If you're not, I'm asking you to please let me speak to the owner. Since he and I are under contract, I know the name. Can you...
Jennifer, you listen to this real quick, okay?
I don't. Can you please tell me the name of the man you just spoke to? Please tell me the name of the man you just spoke to. If you're being honorable, I know the owner's names.
The property owner in 5 seconds and
Turn around, put your hands behind your back.
My dogs. Can somebody please make sure my dogs are...
Yes, ma'am, we will make sure
Okay.
your dogs are safe, ma'am.
You have any?
How's Russell-J:"Gould doing, I wonder? Quantum grammar time. The owner of the property did walk away from the contract after this, so they did have a contract. That would be confusing to them then, though they probably shouldn't be on the property.
I was young, when I was real young, studying grammar in elementary school, I knew that my spirit within me was not born with an alphabet, right? I did not know there was syntax and these words coming together. And I learned that in elementary school. And so I always questioned the difference between the spirit and the outside world that given me this communication skills, teaching me how to speak, what to speak, when to sign, when not to sign, always sign in a cursive form. These thoughts came through my mind, and I pondered them as a very young man, and I pondered them up to 1996.
Oh no, he's using AI.
I got to see it in the courtroom, but I always tell myself, what did I do with my own thinking to bring myself into this matrix? And I always think about that because that's a very fascinating question, is how did my consciousness end up in this vessel? When you get into studying some of the things that I got to study with David and some of the other things, you learn about that we are crystalline energy. When I learned in high school about
We're crystal energy?
energy, and
What is crystalline energy? How does a crystal hold energy? In what way?
And some of the things that
I have also seen Superman, but that's fiction. So, like, how does a crystal have energy?
are just part of a bigger consciousness of our ancestors. And we come up through their memories and their stories, which
That
definitely
shows how old he is, that he thinks you have to sign cursive. Do people not sign cursive anymore? I do.
influence our childhood and influence who we are as people.
Was that a child
Which
drinking?
definitely influence our childhood and influence who we are as
That looked like a child drinking.
people. And now, with the advancement of some of the technologies with the monatomics, we can really look at neutralizing some of the bad storylines that are passed on through our crystalline energy, through our genetics.
Ooh, piezoelectricity. Crackpots use that word sometimes. I know it's a real thing, but they use it in an incorrect way. A lot of places don't even teach cursive anymore. I think that makes sense. I don't see why you would need to, quite honestly.
And that's where the divine space banking comes in, and some of the clean out that has to happen there.
I'm sorry, did you say divine space banking?
Myself, take care of myself first before I kind of give the world certain technologies. My eureka moment was I knew that I was not, because I always ask the question, why? Why am I writing this alphabet? Why am I in this school? Why am I learning this education? Why do I need this education? Why? And so I was always fascinated with the word why. And in
Breaches and Hose says, some rocks do have auras, those rocks being uranium, and the aura is Cancer. Baha says, crystals hold energy in their bonds. It's all stored energy. When a bond is broken, the energy is released. You know what I mean! I don't mean the energy intrinsic in the bonds of atoms. Like, I know.
What I
mean accessible energy that day-to-day people would use.
When I ran into David, David had a different perspective, and David was a pretty smart guy, and we wanted to talk, and we went into the space-time continuum of the dimensions of the paradigm of the prepositional phrase functions. And back then he used to teach it a lot different. He would teach in the paradigm of the space-time continuum of folding cubes, and so he was instructed by the Rothschilds not to teach those functions anymore after 1996, so he stopped teaching in that paradigm. And I haven't gone into that a whole lot about how the dimension of space can fold out through prepositional phrases. I don't really get into that a whole lot anymore, but I definitely was fascinated by him and what he had to say that evening. It sparked a lot of things in that conversation about the things that I had learned about sentence diagramming at a very young age, and it just really fit with questioning why. So that was probably a real eureka moment for me. But when I took it into the courtrooms is where I took the grammar, prepositional phrases, and we were not writing in quantum. This was not quantum grammar. We didn't even know about quantum. So I became cognizant that as I was manifesting words in the courtroom, the court system itself, the judges, the clerks, the prosecutors, they were trying to dissuade me into their condition of thinking. I considered that mind control, and I was pretty anti-mind control because I like to figure things out myself.
He was pretty anti-mind control. He's ambivalent now, I guess.
Because I was continually asking the question, why? In the courtroom, the first time the judge came off the bench was Donald Hall in 1996 in Fremont County Courts, and it was a 5-year court battle. I won the case, but it was very demanding on me, and I found out what I didn't know. The judge played the game very well, and he taught me a lot. Every time he came off the bench, I learned later. that it cost us 10 grand every time he come off the bench.
What?
So that was the fact that he would have
No.
the courage to do that, challenged me to be a better person and educate myself. And I asked him in 2003, last time I had a conversation with him, 2004 actually. I said, Don, why did you do that? Why'd you come off the bench? Why'd you do all that? And he said, you know, Russell, he says, you're just worth it. He says, there's something about you. He says, when you get to DC, everybody's lying to you, but you already know that. He said, but you're
When
just
did
so
Sobsits get into tinfoil? Sobsits are tinfoil. It's just a particular brand of it.
worth it because you had the courage to stand there and take the bashings in the newspaper, take the bashings through the court. He says, anybody's worth it. Anybody's worth that has courage of the convictions to stand on their ground.
Natural fierce.
Against what we do against society. It's worth it. He said, no, I'll pay 10 grand.
No of the title. Dash tilde 4 dash flags dash truth.
And any day of the week to come off the bench if that person's worth it. And I thought about that a long time. I think about it even now. I says, even though he's a fiction judge, that's a pretty neutral.
When did they get into this brand of tinfoil? This guy's been into it for years. This guy's Russell J. Gould. He's actually the student of... Where is this? He's the student... I have his video somewhere. Of this guy, David Win Miller. This was his teacher, and he'd been doing this stuff for like decades. So
a surname which is Miller. So it's for the David Wynn of the Miller family, because faux colons are prepositional phrases to express a fact. You also use it in your digital time, your faux colons. Now, what we're going to...
This guy died, so now the other guy's in charge of the grift.
Do today, we're going to have 5 different segments here.
Will I play an edited version of that new Marcel React vid? I don't know. We might cover it on the Patreon or YouTube member-only show tomorrow. It's a lot of bleeping. So I might just do it unbleeped on the patron-only show. Anyway. Enough of that nonsense. Let's watch other nonsense.
All right, Ronald Hargrove, file 24-43189.
Oh, we're about halfway through the stream, by the way. If you like the stream and want to help support it, you can always donate gift subs. You can subscribe yourself on Twitch. You can join YouTube as a member. You can gift bits or super chat. It's always appreciated. Thanks, everyone.
ST. I see you, Mr. Hargrove, on Zoom. You represented by counsel, Mr. Hargrove?
I represent Mr. Hargrove, Judge.
All right, thank you.
What we're going to ask the court to do is accept plea to count 1 with the second offense dismissed.
Plea deal?
Mr. Fortier, is that an accurate statement of the agreement?
I don't know yet, Your Honor. I can't find the case for some reason.
All right, I'll give you a second. Excuse me.
There's a weird-haired terrier in here.
That offer?
Yes, on the 9th.
Okay. Then, yeah, Judge, that would be what we're going to do then.
All right. Mr. Hargrove, you've heard the attorneys talk that there is an agreement being offered to you that if you plead guilty to the first offense of operating with your license suspended, the notice for second offense, which enhances the penalty, would be dismissed. Is that what you want to do?
So he's getting a plea deal that'll drop one of the charges.
You're on mute now, Mr. Hargrove. You're going to have to take your... There you go. Is that what you want to do today? I'm sorry.
I just had a few questions.
Well, you're going to need to talk to your attorney about those questions. Do you need some time to do that?
He can't answer them for me.
Oh boy.
All right, well then what are your questions? Let me see if I can answer them for you.
Hey, Bildberg.
Okay, well, I don't understand how you can be the trustee of my Cesta KV account, Ronald Gene Hargrove II, and not have my...
There it is. So he's calling the judge the trustee of his SESTK account. As I've mentioned before, the SESTK account is a fictional trust that these people believe exists. Sovereign citizens sometimes believe that every American has what they call the SESTK trust, in which every American citizen secretly has millions of dollars.
best interest.
Not true, obviously. Keep Lord says, for those who wanted to know how to parse quantum grammar, I found a pretty comprehensive infographic. Funny.
I'm sorry, what, I don't understand what your question is.
How can you be the trustee of the Cesta KV account, Ronald Gene Hargrove II, and not have my best interest?
What is that account that you're referring to?
Want me to look up maritime law? Can do.
The Cesta KV
Yes, he
account
is, but
that everybody,
Go ahead.
most people have, and you're the trustee. Just like the Secretary of State is trustee of it. You are my trustee, aren't you?
No!
not that I'm aware of.
Uh-oh.
There's no trust.
Why would I be your trustee? Mr. Gila, do you have some additional information that I'm not picking up on?
No, Judge.
It's just something that I believe in, and I've seen evidence of, and
What leads you, Mr. Hargrove, what leads you to believe that?
The evidence is a YouTube video some random person made. Maritime law. Maritime law, that which the Congress has enacted, or the federal courts sitting in admiralty, or in the exercise of their maritime jurisdiction have declared and would apply. That system of law which particularly relates to maritime commerce law, and navigation. To business transacted at sea or related to navigation, to ships and shipping, to seamen, to the transportation of persons and property by sea, and to marine affairs generally. The law relating to harbors, ships, and seamen, divided into a variety of subject areas, such as those concerning harbors, property of ships, duties and the rights of masters and seamen, contracts of affreightment, average, salvage, etc. It extends to civil, marine torts and injuries, illegal dispositions or withholdings of possession from the owners of ships, municipal seizures of ships, etc.
That I'm your trustee.
because of a former case I've seen.
A former case. What former case are you referring to?
In Roscom, and a friend of mine asked the judge that, and he couldn't answer him. So
That's probably because it's not factually true.
Yeah.
What information do you have that leads you to believe that I'm a trustee for you?
In that case, the judge quit 6 months into his new term because he was dishonored, and the sheriff. So,
Mr. Hargrove, the question was not about a Roscommon County case. It was about this particular case. You've alleged that I'm your trustee. I'm asking what information or proof that you have that is true.
so you're just denying it?
I don't know.
Empty Durr says, how do they rationalize the fact that every time they bring this stuff up to anyone who practices law, they have no idea what they're talking about? One of two things typically: either they will assume that the person they're talking to is lying and knows all about it and is just hiding the truth to further perpetuate the conspiracy, or they believe that they have been misinformed and miseducated by the system put together by them in order to stop them from knowing the true law.
Know of any information that it makes it true?
Okay. If it was
what information do you have?
If it was a
Mr. Hargrove, go ahead.
If it was a misdemeanor, would it be true?
No. Misdemeanors and trusts have nothing to do with each other.
Okay,
There
well,
has to be some court order for me to be a trustee for you. For anybody to be a trustee, there has to be a court order. Do you have such a court order?
no. I just believe that you are my trustee of the Susquehanna account.
There is no
Ronald Dean Hart
account.
II,
It doesn't
and
exist.
Could you speak a little more clearly and tell me what that account is?
I'm not sure. I just believe that you are my trustee, and if you
I appreciate on some level that he's not even trying to put forward evidence. He's literally just saying, I believe it. It's a belief. He believes it because he believes it because he believes it. That's it. That's all he needs.
deny it, then you deny it. Okay, we'll move on from there. I guess, you know, and another thing is I paid $1,000 for a reinstatement fee, but you guys keep saying I don't have a license. And where did my $1,000 go? I don't understand this.
Who did you pay
paid
$1,000 to, Mr. Hargrove?
the Secretary of State or the
Then you
state
need
of
to
Michigan.
ask the Secretary of State.
Well, I believe I have my license, and they just keep. There's a screw up somewhere.
Then you need to contact the Secretary of State, but I'm not connected to the Secretary of State. I'm the court system. I work in the court system. I don't work for the Secretary of State, so I can't tell them what to do. If you believe that you paid the money and you should have a license, you need to contact the Secretary of State.
Okay. Well, knowing that I think I had a license at the time, doesn't that change things?
It would change things only if it were true, and I don't know that it's true. Just because you believe it doesn't make it true.
Yeah.
All right, Mr. Hargrove, your attorney has told me, and the prosecutor has agreed, that there is an offer on the table for you to plead guilty to operating with license suspended in exchange for dismissal of the second offense notice, which makes this a much more serious charge.
Okay.
Do you want to accept that today, or do you want to have some additional time to speak with your attorney?
No, they don't have nothing to say to me. Their best interest is of the court. So I'll take that, and I would hope to get the same fine everybody else did today. Thank you very much.
Well, I can't guarantee that because you're in a different circumstance than everybody else.
Well, I'm pleading guilty to the same offense they just pled guilty to.
But your background is not the same as theirs.
You know what? I'll plead insanity.
You can't plead insanity to not having your license. That's not how this works. I think the insanity defense can only be used in, like, murder trials. I'm pretty sure it's basically a thing for murder trials. It's like the McNaughton defense or something like that. I don't remember the exact stuff about that. But, yeah, that's not gonna work in traffic court. That's not how that works.
All right, Mr. Gilo, I'm going to adjourn today's hearing. I'm going to give you an opportunity to speak with Mr. Hargrove. He is
probably a good
bringing
call.
up some things that may have some impact on his ability to take a plea today. So we're simply going to adjourn this for 14 days or so and move the case that way. Mr. Hargrove, I want you to speak with your lawyer. He does have your best interest at heart, and he needs to understand your concerns so that he can properly bring them before the court. All right, that'll be all for today.
I cannot believe it. Wow. What a guy. Oh, this is unfortunate. This is a sovereign citizen DUI. DUI videos aren't normally much fun, but at least he's a sovereign citizen.
So I keep my information up here. You guys are not in danger.
If you're curious, by the way, he gets found to have a 0.10 blood alcohol level after this, so a little over the limit of 0.08, so he is intoxicated. I believe they also claim they smell marijuana, which with a cop, it's always iffy, but, like, based on how inebriated he sounds like it's more than just a 0.10. Probably crossfading going on, based on my personal experience, so...
You got 2 driver licenses?
Depends on the state, it could be a 0.06 limit. I believe for the state he's in, it's 0.08.
It's the one that in your hand. You got 2?
Yeah, they were both issued different times. It's the same state.
When did they test for alcohol? Could he have sobered up? I'm not sure. I don't know if he gets a breathalyzer here, if they do blood tests back at the station. Fenekagami says, pleading insanity in traffic court is basically him admitting that he shouldn't be allowed to drive. If he was so emotionally distressed that he can't be held responsible for his actions, then he was functioning driving under the influence. I assume he meant functionally. Yeah, you can't plead insanity in traffic court anyway. Like, there's nowhere where you can do that.
One was probably issued, not canceled, but I just keep them both on me just in case, because I don't know. You know what I mean?
Gotcha. I've never
all
seen
good,
it
all good.
Yeah. Sure
one might be canceled, one might be valid, but I keep both on me because I'm not sure.
Gotcha. And your
you
insurance?
came earlier?
Huh?
In Bluffton? I thought I saw you earlier.
Do you have insurance?
Yeah. I thought he just gave me my insurance with the
registration.
Oh. It's State Farm.
Just go ahead and work on pulling that up. I'll be back with you. Okay?
State Farm. Yeah, I have a digital thing. If not, on paper.
Yeah, just stay in the car and pull it
I got you. An automobile that was outside, a white GMC that they said had the odor of marijuana. But we were all inside and nobody was at my automobile. Nobody was smoking anything. We were all inside, so...
He's slurring.
To me, they were just harassing somebody.
I know, it is strange that he has driver's license and insurance.
There. No, I left there, I came over and I was going home and they pulled me over now and I recognized the one officer as someone that pulled me over earlier, but all my stuff is legit.
Okay, so you got
the dinging is in the video.
No, I shouldn't have anything to worry about unless they're trying to be unlawful, which they could be, but...
No, listen, to make sure they don't need you, keep it there on low profile.
I'm legit.
Oh, he's talking to like his Savsit guru on the phone.
I'm just trying to find out. Yeah, so I'm just outside the gate. My information is legit. I'm registered. Everything's straight.
Can't you look up in most states if your driver's license is good? Probably. I'm not sure though.
I'm just looking.
You just make sure they don't need you. You don't piss nobody off. You don't want to piss anybody off.
I'm being lawful. I'm just looking for my insurance information because I have a digital copy. But I'm just trying to find the digital copy. Hold on. Earlier at Hampton Lakes.
Yeah, at the Hampton
Lakes. Yeah,
Lakes.
when you stopped me earlier and trying to implicate yourself, and then you guys followed me from there.
I wasn't implicating anything. I was telling you.
Yeah, I talked to you at the door.
I was telling you what I factually knew.
Yeah, what you thought factually from.
Go ahead and step out of the vehicle.
For what?
Because I smell the odor of marijuana coming from your car. So.
Hey, Pepe. They're
Were you drinking tonight too? Because there's a open container of alcohol on the floor.
No.
Oh yeah, there's an open container of alcohol in the car. That's not good. That's illegal.
No, let me just put my windows up. I'm stepping out. I'm just gonna secure.
I know you got a knife in there.
I'm just gonna secure my automobile. That's all.
I'm just gonna secure my automobile. I'm not making fun of that, by the way. I'm just trying to illustrate. This man is cooked. This man is, like, inebriated at the point where you're... And I remember this experience, too, when I used to drink. Like, when you'd get drunk enough that you're struggling to talk, but in your head, you're working so hard. You're like, yeah, I'm talking real good. But, like, it just comes out like gibberish, but you're trying so hard. The amount of effort it even takes to get that level of, like, articulation out of you when you're drunk is crazy. Wisconsin has a blood alcohol minimum of 0.05. Yeah, Wisconsin's got an alcoholic problem. The whole Midwest does, honestly. So I can see why.
I'm not. I'm just putting my windows up, secure my automobile.
Oh, I see. You were making a joke about how alcoholics in Wisconsin. You said minimum. I get it. Sorry. Sorry, I missed your joke at first. I'm an idiot. Oh, he's struggling.
Go ahead and turn around. Do you care if I pat you down for any weapons?
I don't.
You give me consent?
I guess if you pat me down.
He's surprisingly agreeing to a lot for a sovereign citizen.
For any unlawful search or seizure.
I'm just patting you down for any weapons.
Okay, no weapons. No weapons.
Do you give me permission to pat you down for weapons?
All right. For what? For what? Crime?
I'm asking you if you're giving me permission.
Yeah.
Not,
for what crime? What lawful crime are you pulling me over?
I'm not saying you committed a crime.
So you don't have a crime you're pulling me over for?
No, it's just a yes or no.
You
yes
can pat me down for weapons. Yeah.
Yeah, I could.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Go ahead and step in front of my vehicle, please. You're good.
No weapons, right?
Yeah.
All right. So.
Just go ahead and step in front of my vehicle.
Right in the front.
Right here.
Okay.
Maybe he is
I
that
need to
drunk.
search your vehicle.
No.
So I saw you locked it.
Yeah, because I don't give you a.
You don't need to. When I have probable cause that I smell
What's the probable
marijuana,
cause?
hang on, listen, hang on.
No, I hear it. I hear it's probable cause.
Hang on.
I hear
You'll be able to hang on. Let me speak first, and then I have probable cause to search your vehicle because I smell the odor of marijuana coming from it.
I rebut the presumptions of law.
I don't need your permission.
I rebut the presumptions of law.
I don't need your permission.
I rebut that. Do you know the presumptions of law that I'm rebutting?
I'm telling you, I don't.
Do you know the 12 presumptions of law that I'm rebutting? The 12 presumptions of law. We're in equity. You have a solicitor that's prosecuting us, right? A solicitor. At the courthouse, you have a solicitor, right? It's a solicitor, not a DA, not a prosecutor, a solicitor. They absolutely know equity. Do you understand the 12 presumptions of equity? You don't.
I don't understand.
I would advise you get an attorney right now.
I don't understand what you're saying.
You should understand.
It's not making any sense.
The solicitor understands what I'm talking about. That's why there's a canceled case.
I'm telling you.
What's your name? Mr. Young. I recognize you from earlier. I recognized you from earlier when you're harassing us earlier. You're on camera right now. I'm going to tell you. You don't know the presumptions of law. I'm going to tell you. Because you don't know.
Marcus.
Where's your supervisor?
You're on camera too. We're getting.
That's cool. Where's your supervisor?
Right there.
You can bring him over.
Yes.
I'll talk to him.
But we do have probable cause to search the vehicle.
You don't have probable cause. I'll talk to your supervisor.
The open container of alcohol is not probable cause.
That's not an open container of alcohol.
Really? An open truly on the floor is not an open container of alcohol.
Is there alcohol in it?
I drank it all, officer. Where's your evidence now? In my intestines? Watch as I make this open container of alcohol disappear.
It's
not for me. It's not for me.
What's an alcoholic beverage?
You were driving the vehicle.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
I was going to search the vehicle.
What's the issue?
All right. So I saw you earlier.
Yes, sir.
Can we talk over here?
We talk right here.
Okay. So he's saying there's an open, whatever he's proclaiming.
Okay.
Right?
Yes, sir.
So I'm sure that when you harassed us earlier at the private place that you talked to us earlier,
Okay.
when you tried to get me at the door and tried to get to...
I was not trying. I was trying to speak with you. That was all. Go ahead.
I would have spoke to you. I would have spoke to you. But at that time, I felt you were trying to harass my employees because they're not from the state.
Okay.
And they were trying to go, right? That's why you stepped off. Now, I left there and you followed me here, right?
I didn't follow you here, sir.
You did. You did.
Me personally?
No, not you personally. Them. This,
All right.
Mr. Young.
Well, go ahead. Go where you were getting.
All right. So my point is, I pulled in here. So why'd you pull me over? What crime did you pull me over for?
I told you the reason for the stop.
Okay. What crime?
When you use the turn signal and you change lanes, you didn't use 150 feet.
150.
I also saw you go over
That's the public side of things.
Hang on. I also saw you go over the...
No, I'm talking about school
Are
equity.
you gonna ask why I stopped you and then
I don't care about that. I don't care about that.
I gave you 2 reasons why.
Yeah,
I stopped
you're talking
you.
about the public side.
All right.
I'm talking about equity in the courts.
All right.
Does the courts know me?
What's your name, sir?
The courts know me. Sorry, you're... 1 second. Where is he? What is the name of the clip I'm looking for? There it is. Those who know me!
What's your name?
My name? Oh, let me tell you my name. I'm confused because, you know, like we're supposed to believe in the ministry, right? So is the church and state supposed to be separate? I'm confused because I never went to school, right? Is a confused person get a resolution? I don't understand. You see, when you go like that, right, you have a cross, 2 sticks, right? And that's how I felt when I was in Waterloo. Because when I walked in Waterloo and smiled at people, they treated me like a vampire. They used the cross and they went like this by not smiling at me. In Toronto, hey, hi guys, you know me, Steve Spiros, easygoing. Those who know me.
Those who know me! Mr. Blast, thanks for gifting a sub.
I'm a nobody. You understand? And you can't kill a person with
no body.
So why am I afraid? I'm not afraid. I'm afraid of the boogeyman. Who's the boogeyman? You figure it out. I'm getting out of here. I'm going back to Waterloo where the vampires hang out. And I'm gonna wear my sunglasses at night. You know why? Because women show their tits, have short skirts, and then they feel violated when I look at them. Why? Because I have sunglasses on and I'm weird. I'm from Humberside. I'm sorry if I made a fool of Humberside, but all those people who called me a sleepwalker, I woke up. Now I'm going back to sleep because I'm going to be committed in an isolation room because I'm going to go back to the ministry and allow them to perceive me as I am, a fuck up. Goodbye. Hey, Toronto the good. Look at this square. It was a shithole when I worked here. Now it looks like New York, Manhattan. Where are the bums? There's no bums here. Toronto doesn't have bums. But Waterloo, they're creating bums. They created me. Why? I don't know. Maybe it's the church. Talk to the Pope. He knows everything. I had it. I'm gonna die. How can you die when you're dead? Oh, wait a second. I'm gonna be crucified, right? I'm not gonna raise my voice because I'm committed to the Lord.
Phyllis Filler says, when you didn't prepare for your public speaking final and have to do it extemporaneously.
Marcus of the Cross family.
Where you were.
All right, now I'm talking about equity, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's nobody in the highway. I don't know what he's talking about as far as he's talking about. I don't know what he's talking about.
Okay.
I'm pulling into my friend's house.
Yes, sir.
He pulled me over. As far as I know, because I don't know anything lawfully, any crime that I committed.
Okay.
As far as I know, he's following me and harassing me again.
Okay, so So he's stating he pulled you over because you failed to signal for 150 feet before you
I
changed
don't know
lanes.
anything about that.
Okay, that is a traffic violation.
That's
in the
a
state of South Carolina.
that's a complaint, not a lawful claim.
Okay.
Right, you guys took an oath, right?
Sir, so that's
You guys took an oath to protect the Constitution, right?
Yes, sir.
Right. So nothing you're talking about has to do with anything that has to do with your oath to the Constitution, right?
So it's a traffic violation in the state of South
But you
Carolina.
understand what I'm talking about, right?
Florida, South Carolina.
You understand as far as
I understand
equity.
where you're coming from.
Right. So we shouldn't be
So
having
I'm
a
trying to work with you.
Right. So as far as side of what we're talking about, there's nothing else to talk about unless I hurt somebody.
There's no crime, obviously, that you hurt somebody, right?
Right. So there's no crime. So why can I proceed in private, right upon the fence to my friend that I'm about to go to and settle it down for the night?
Okay. So
that's all I'm saying.
I understand what you're saying.
Now, the last situation I got in, they canceled the case. They didn't bring a case for it.
Okay, so
I don't want to take it any further, but I don't know what he's talking about. All I know is he's harassing me from the last place I went to.
Marcus, so this is how I'm going to explain to you, okay?
Yes.
All right? The most respectful way I can, all right? Per South Carolina law, if we...
Legal codes, not law. You took an oath.
Okay.
What do you think a legal code is?
To the Constitution.
All right, let me
right.
finish, please.
Article 3, Section 3.
All right.
There's nothing you're saying past Article 3,
Marcus.
Section 2, Clause 2 that has anything to do with what you're saying.
Marcus, let me finish. You mind?
Go ahead.
Thank you.
I apologize.
He smells... No, you're fine. He smells the odor of marijuana emanating
I don't know what he's
emitting
talking
from your
about.
vehicle,
I don't know what he's
okay?
talking about.
He also sees a open alcohol container on the floorboard
Marijuana?
on the passenger side of your vehicle,
It
okay?
has to do with marijuana.
I'm giving you two separate things,
Yeah,
okay?
but the probable
Now-
cause is the marijuana, which is not
All right,
nothing.
They're both potential probable cause. It doesn't have to be either or. You can have multiple incidences, multiple things that count towards probable cause.
Marcus, I'm going to let you speak, but let me finish, okay?
Okay.
All right? That gives him probable cause to search
It's
your
not
vehicle.
probable cause.
Okay? Again, let him
According
do what
to
he's
code.
going to do.
I'm not going to let
If
him
he
do it.
writes you a
I'm not-
citation
Okay.
or anything for it afterwards, you can go to court, take it up with the judge, and we can go from there.
Yeah,
Sure,
he seems
but-
to think he's the one that needs to be convinced of the probable cause, and it's not. It's the judge. Like, if you think that this shouldn't count for probable cause, I'd suggest you get a lawyer and argue that in court.
But I'm not going to allow you to violate
I don't
your
think
oath
that'll go well, because an open container is... You're not getting away from that one, I don't think.
to do that. You understand what I'm saying? You understand what I'm saying?
You understand what I'm saying?
I don't.
You should. You should, because your chief knows.
Okay. Well, my sergeant is on his way. You can speak with him, okay? Is that fine?
Yeah.
The one that's
Can
in
I wait?
charge of the road, I'm not the first in charge.
Fair enough.
He's
Fair
pulling
enough.
up right now.
Fair enough.
I'll have
Fair
him come
enough.
up and speak with you.
Fair enough.
All right.
I appreciate you.
Yes, sir. Thank
Thank
you.
you,
One
sir.
moment, all right?
Sure. Can I go over here with him?
Just stay here until they come up. I
Fair
appreciate
enough.
it.
Fair enough.
Thank you.
What's your first name?
I don't need you. I don't
You
need
do. You're a public official. You need to identify yourself.
They don't need to give you a first name.
Your code says so.
I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm the
So,
only young
so,
officer.
so, this is the only young officer who doesn't know his oath or know that he's supposed to identify himself.
He can identify himself. He should identify himself, but that doesn't require a name. That can be a badge number. That can be, you know, lieutenant or sergeant or whatever the fuck his name is. He's young, so probably not a sergeant, but, you know, whatever. Officer blank. His last name or badge number is enough. They do not need to give their first name.
I'm the only young that works for Bluffton PD.
That doesn't have anything to do with me. I don't know who you are. I didn't elect you, right?
No,
You're not elected, right? You're not elected, right? That means you're not a public official. You're not elected. This is about oath keeping. See the thing on the back of my car? Oath keeping, sworn servants, check their oath. See that right there?
Marcus.
See this here? This is
Marcus,
I don't care
this
about
is
that.
my sergeant. Marcus, this is my sergeant, Sergeant Perkins.
Hey, how you doing,
Yes,
sir?
sir.
What's going on today?
How you doing, sir?
How you doing?
Yes,
What's
sir.
going on? Can you please hang right? Can you hang
Yeah.
right? I appreciate it. What's going on?
So just for our production.
Yeah.
So the officer here was at an earlier private conjugation I was with my coworkers, and I feel that he's harassing me right now because when I left there earlier, I had an exchange with him and the officer right there.
I like that he thinks like in his head. I'm thinking of this again as someone who is a former alcoholic. In his head, I think he thinks he's further away from the other cops and being quieter than he actually is. Because he's kind of talking like he thinks he's just talking to the cop that just showed up. But that pan shows that, like, he's literally still in the group of all these cops.
I had an exchange with him.
Like, he's literally in the circle? Aren't the Oath Keepers domestic terrorists? Yes. He's not necessarily saying he's a member of them, though. Not necessarily. He could be. Not necessarily.
That officer right there, where they didn't have any real proper cause. They took an oath.
Real quick, I'm gonna pause. Do you have any? No one's frisked you?
I don't. They frisked me already.
Okay.
They frisked me already.
He was frisked?
Yes.
Oh.
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
alright, you can put your hand in your pocket.
So I apologize. Yeah, so nothing alarming. So my thing is this. I've already been in several situations with this department with harassment. And he's trying to gain probable cause based off of whatever superficial evidence he can get prior to.
So from what I understand with that incident,
He says he smelled marijuana, and then he's saying.
We were called because of the marijuana. We didn't just show up.
So you were called.
We were called.
While I was pulling in here.
I'm gonna explain everything to you, right? So we were called because of the white GMC that was driving around smelling like marijuana. From a
Right here?
No, this was earlier. The incident.
I don't know what you're talking about earlier.
This was the incident you were referring to.
No, I'm talking about right now. He pulled me over because he said, "What?"
The reason you were pulled over is because you failed to signal 150 feet prior to changing lanes.
Okay, yeah. This has nothing to do with what you're talking about earlier.
Okay.
What are you talking about?
You just said you had a congregation with your friends.
That was me that said, but this has nothing to do with now.
Okay.
I'm just giving what I think is harassment.
Okay.
So now you're saying that this has something to do
Someone
with
called him in for hotboxing.
So
yeah, that shit's rare, too. You shouldn't get high and drive. But, like, do you know how obnoxious you have to be generally for someone to actually call on you for that? Probably pretty obnoxious.
All about marijuana.
Okay, so
this is coincidence now because it's you.
Or people just don't want you hitting their fucking kids.
Not coincidence, it's
no,
you.
It is coincidence because
it is
you
coincidence.
were referring to
now it's
before
coincidence.
Is what I said. Is what I thought you were talking about. You said congregation earlier, right? So from what I understand, there was a congregation earlier where there was marijuana involved. Now,
no, there wasn't a congregation where there was marijuana involved.
That's from our end. There was. When you said congregation, I thought that's what you were referring to. So now
I'm not sure what you were referring
to. He pulled you over. Right?
I'm not sure what you're referring to as early as marijuana.
So for right now, for what I understand, he pulled you over because you failed to signal within 150 feet.
Right.
Now
Where,
he smells marijuana.
Where?
I don't know exactly where. I just got here, but that's what I understand.
So that's what I'm trying to understand is, you're talking about 150 feet from where? What stop that I didn't?
Before you actually made the lane
where?
change.
Well, yeah, Mr. Duck Sauce. I imagine people wouldn't care if the car's not on and you're parked. You're not driving in that case.
Right, that's what I'm trying to understand.
Prior to turning onto Oakwood Highway.
Okay, so.
From Bluffton Parkway.
Okay,
as long as you're not planning on driving.
What's the articulable criminal offense that articulated the stop?
Right, that is it right there.
They've said it several times.
That's a civil offense.
Right, so now.
Oh, this is frustrating. He just keeps asking the same exact question.
It's civil in nature.
That we smell marijuana. So they pulled you over for the
something civil in nature that's not criminal.
Are you gonna let me explain? Because
I understand I already understand the law. I'm asking you because I want to understand.
They pulled you over, right? Because you failed to.
All right, that's the end of part 1. We'll start part 2 in just a second. I have to run and use the bathroom. While I do, Chair will tell you about On the Road with Bob Hope and Bing Crosby. We're off on the road to Morocco. This is gonna fall over. That's a bad call. Imagine that Blu-ray sitting there. Ooh, I'll be right back. I'm back. Dubnaught, thanks for subscribing.
It's not a criminal offense.
Right. It's not. No, it's a traffic statute.
Right. It's not criminal.
Still here.
Right.
Now we smell marijuana in the vehicles. That's
Right.
what he's searching for. Okay. So he's
Right,
going
but
to do that.
He's not going to do that.
He is going to do that. We don't need your.
Because
If he smells
you
marijuana,
do.
we
You
don't
do
need your
because your offense initially is not criminal.
And you
And
can.
no, you took
you
an
can
oath
argue
to it.
that all day.
We can argue it. We get the court's
And
going to stop.
you can go to court with that.
And we
But
can.
that's what's going to happen.
Right, but you took an oath.
So there's two ways
I'm
that
not
this
gonna
can
consent.
happen. We can. You don't have to consent. He's going to do it.
You can do what you want unlawfully
And
on
if you,
camera.
If you feel it's unlawful, it's fine. You
Dude,
can
I know
record
this
me
court
all
case is
day.
going to stop because you did it before. And
like I
it's
said,
cool.
you'll have your day.
You can
in
do
court.
whatever you want unlawfully.
Is there anything in the bar that we have to worry about?
I'm not.
The boy seems to be feeling better. He is. His swelling's gone down. He's got more energy. Yeah, he's doing good. I think he'll be... Hopefully, let's see, how many days has it been? 2 or 3 since the thing? I think after about a week, we can have him interact with the other cats. He'll finally be able to get out of this room, because he's not supposed to be interacting with the other cats. That way they don't, get into his incision or anything. He's been neutered. Yep, like 2 or 3 days ago, he got neutered, got vaccinated. They tested for heartworms, FIV, I think. Yeah, he's doing good. 10 to 14 days.
Okay, all right. So he's gonna search your car.
You can do whatever you want. You can do
He's
whatever
gonna
you
search
want
your car,
unlawfully and
and
illegally.
We're gonna hang right here, okay?
You can do whatever you want unlawfully and illegally.
He locked his car and he's got the car keys.
Okay, so if he smelled the marijuana, he's gonna be able to search the car. So we can
He's
handcuff
not.
you and take the keys.
You can do whatever
or
you
can
want
give him the
unlawfully and illegally. You can.
keys. You feel that way?
Okay. I'm gonna keep it on camera.
That's absolutely fine.
Can I have your car keys, please?
Oh, wow, look at how fucked up his phone is. Oh, no.
So you want me to
Yeah.
allow you to violate my rights?
You can unlock the vehicle. That's it. That's all you
Can you
gotta
unlock
do.
it, please?
For what?
So I can search it.
For what? You want me to consent to
You
search?
can unlock it.
I
or
don't
we
consent
can
to search,
handcuff
and there's no marijuana.
Okay, no
we don't
worries.
need the consent.
Okay.
Go ahead. Turn around. Hang on, don't press up on
Yeah.
You want to let go
Just,
of this?
right-
Yeah,
right-
hopefully
right-
he'll get
right-
adopted
continue to
soon.
record all your names.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Sir, can you let go of this? I'll even put it down so it can continue to record.
Okay, record it. Record it.
Alright. So it's recorded. Go ahead. Put it. You let it record him. Stay keeping on him. Alright.
Marcus, I'll get
Do you
you.
have any marijuana on you? Because I smell it off of you too.
I don't care what you think you smell.
Okay.
You have an agricultural bill, right?
Say what?
You have an agricultural bill.
You have an agricultural bill?
You don't know about your hemp agricultural bill. Yeah, you need to fire every officer here.
Oh, is he gonna claim that he has hemp, or it's hemp, not marijuana?
You know that, right?
If that's something
You have a
see
hemp.
happen,
You
you'll
have a
you'll
hemp
have a day in
agricultural bill.
court.
No.
You'll have a day in court.
No, there's not a day in court. You have a.
I'm sorry, what's the classification of hemp versus, like, marijuana? Is it like it has to be 3% THC or under to be considered a hemp product? Something like that? It's like a very low percentage. And if they do find weed on him, I gotta imagine it's not gonna be that or under.
The agricultural and hemp bill, right?
Let me look what counts as hemp. I'll Google it.
I know you do, right? I'm looking at you, right?
Okay.
And you.
Do you have hemp on you? Under
Do
this
you have a
agriculture?
hemp and agricultural bill?
I'm not familiar with the hemp and agriculture.
You're not familiar. Then you need to be fired. You need to be fired.
Can you explain it?
Ah.
I don't need to explain the law to you.
It's not 3%, sorry. Hemp contains less than 0.3%, so it's not 3%. It's 1/3%. So virtually no THC content.
I want to know about it.
How do you
You're
not know?
willing to explain
You're
it to me?
arresting somebody with a hemp
you're
and
not under
agricultural
arrest
bill
right
that's
now, so
legal.
You've gotten high off hemp-based THC? You could have, but I imagine it would have to be a ton of it.
You're just detained right now. You're not.
Like, that feels like the weed equivalent of an alcoholic who's trying to get drunk off vanilla extract. Do you know what I mean?
So
You have.
you can. I would
Listen,
love to
listen.
learn. I would love to
You don't
learn
need to learn
whatever
from
you
me
want
because you should know the law. You should know the law first of all. And this is not being detained.
Explain it to me. You're being detained right now.
This is not detained.
It didn't have to be with the handcuffs.
This is
but
called
you
a,
made it
this.
with the handcuffs.
This is detention. You can let you violate it. You want to violate it.
You don't have to.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
Legislature has put. It's not how I feel. It's how the law goes. Just goes right.
So he ends up getting arrested. Like I said, he ends up blowing a .10, so above the limit. Not sure if they ended up finding weed on him or not, but he was driving drunk. So yeah, deserved arrest. See what else we have. Dave Murphy appears to be doing a scam now, where he might be trying to sell promissory notes to people, or selling a program to them to how to make their own promissory notes, which is a bad idea.
To promissory note, it wouldn't, if I just wrote it, it
We're
wouldn't.
coming in the middle of this video because it's like an hour-long stream they did, so I'm just going into the part where he's talking about these things he's doing.
Necessarily, it would have the same value, let's say, as a £10 note.
It would have the same value. It'd have the value of what you put on there.
Right.
If you just wrote out a promissory note and gave it to the bank, right? They would immediately say, "Oh, we don't accept this."
Right.
But they won't return it to you.
No. Why not?
Because you were trying to fraudulently deposit something in your account that isn't real? Yeah, that's fraud. That's counterfeiting. You're not allowed to do that.
Because they can securitize it. They can sell it and
Wait, he thinks he goes to a bank with a fake promissory note and they don't give it back to him because it's fraudulent. And he thinks that they're taking it for themselves? That's so funny. If that's how it worked, why aren't they just sitting there all day, writing promissory notes to themselves? You know what I mean? No, they took it because it's unlawful, you idiot.
for the value of the note.
No, that's really interesting because people will know that I paid off the water bill, not quite with the promissory note, but it's effectively the same principle of signing on and saying, yes, I approve this, I'll turn this into money.
Mm-hmm.
And I paid off one water bill and then I heard nothing from them. So I didn't give...
The P brain rot is real, yeah. Again, we're on a moratorium again until, like, next December or so. But I would like to point out Dave is a pee drinker. He drinks pee for health reasons, or at least that's what he believes, that drinking pee is healthy and that's what he does. Did this man just admit to paying his water bill with fake money? Yeah, they do that.
Them any money. I just signed the thing and said, yes, happy to approve all of this. 3 months go past. I get the next bill from the water board, and it gives you the last couple of statements to show where you are and where you've paid.
Mm-hmm.
And there, sure enough, was the one I'd paid using my signature.
If you try to do that, you might get it through their automated system for like a month or two, but at minimum, when the quarter is done and they're going back to their books more thoroughly and looking at what actually happened, they're going to catch you. A lot of our day-to-day lives are automated. A lot of payment systems are automated. So if you sneak something through, it doesn't mean you win. They're gonna notice later through some sort of audit, and they're gonna come get the money because you've committed fraud. Oh, God.
So I made the mistake of coming on the show and saying...
No, Mr. Duck Sauce, I haven't seen that Best of the Worst yet. Other people have brought up they do a pee video, though.
It bloody works. And then suddenly the water board clearly have been awash with these people going, oh, well, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. So I don't mean it was a mistake because I wanted to help people.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, because I put it on the show, too many people probably at once came in. And so when I did the next one, they said, no, we don't accept this. This isn't payment. Go away, you silly man. And I said, well, I will go away and I'll pay it another way if you send me back the original financial instrument.
They don't have it. They probably shredded it. They might have it in their office as a joke. It's worthless. They're not going to spend the money to send your thing back to you that you sent them that was useless.
Well, they haven't, and they probably securitized it and made.
They literally can't. It's not a security. It's a piece of paper you wrote on.
Money out of it. And so, you know, in the end, I'm going to send them an invoice to say, well, you've got my money. So either deduct it from the account, or
it's not money.
Here's my invoice to say you haven't sent it back. Give me my money, and then I'll give you yours, which is, you know, a ludicrous situation.
It is a ludicrous situation, but you're the ludicrous one. You're the one making the situation strange.
So yeah, that's the thing, you know, the
like when he says they're securitizing it, what does he think they're doing? Like, and this is like it was a payment for 1 month of water. So let's say it's like a little fake fraudulent promissory note he's made that's worth like what, $200 or something? You think the bank is securitizing your $200 fraud note?
When you did it, right, obviously it got through, but when there's the floodgates open and lots of people, well, they've got to try and protect the game.
Yes.
Right. So, you know, when we do this, we're not going to be making a big fuss of it. We're just going to be doing it. I'm not going to be doing a show saying, yeah, well, it's only good because...
Oh boy, I wonder why not, Dave. Why are you going to try and keep this on the DL? Is it because on some level you know this is fraudulent and you're going to get in so much trouble for this?
That's my lesson.
Yes, but yeah, they can't actually refuse your promissory note, right? If they're gonna say no, we don't accept it. Well, they've got to take you to court and prove that they don't accept it.
Right.
If they've hung on to it, yeah, if you send it to them, they hang on to it and say we don't accept it. The fact they've hung on to it means they've accepted it.
Yes.
Yeah. And they can't really get around it. And if they say, well, it's lost or it's been destroyed, yeah, well, you know, they've been paid.
Yes.
What they do with it after that is their concern.
Well, I did say in my letter, I said, well, I can't be liable for your loss once it's been delivered. You know, it's been delivered. So if you know, I know a busy office and what have you, but I've paid it as far as I'm concerned, because it's the same as me just giving them the ready cash.
It's not. I promise it's not. You know why? Because money is money. Other people accept it for goods and services and for servicing debt. They do not take the random piece of paper that random YouTube guy scribbled on. Your thing is not legal tender.
Them saying, oh, we don't accept that. And you go, okay, give me my ready cash back.
Yeah, exactly.
And they're not. Somebody's put it in their pocket and gone off with it.
No, they threw it in the trash because it's worthless. Your life is worthless. You're spending your time teaching people bullshit. Yeah.
That's actually the problem with people.
Sorry, I need to take a deep breath. I'm frustrated. Dave in particular frustrates me because he's so confident and so cocky, and this British guy just gargles on his balls, and I hate it. We bring up the bad energy, and we push it away. We bring up the bad energy, and we push it away. We're good. We're fine. Serenity now. Serenity now.
People using promissory notes because they've been taught that the promissory notes that the bank give are real, and if you wrote one, then it's not real. And that's in the back of their heads.
Yes. So
when the bank or whoever it is say, well, we don't accept it, they go, oh, it didn't work.
Yeah.
But as you say, if you'd given them a gold bar,
yeah,
right, accept this as payment, and they say, oh no, we don't accept gold bars, but they didn't give you a gold bar back.
Okay, a gold bar is worth something. Also, they wouldn't take it if you tried to hand it to them, but if you send it in the mail, you've sent it. based on how the mail works, once you've sent someone something in the mail, they own it. That's how it works in the United States, at least. I don't know about the UK. The boy on the chair? Oh, he shouldn't be climbing that with his scrotum in the state that it is. Well, he did it. He's up there now. So.
Just leave it and go, oh. No.
Yeah, no, well, that's exactly it. And that's why I kept saying, I'm happy to pay. And I did this with the council tax and HMRC. And I did exactly the same. And they're doing the same. And I'm just saying, look.
Wow, someone should probably go to this guy's house like a cop and tell him to stop doing fraud. That would be cool.
I'm not saying I'm not paying. Just give me the financial instrument. But give me what I've tried to pay with. As you say, it could be a Rembrandt picture.
Yeah, because I think it's valuable.
Yeah, I think that's valuable.
It's got a value to it. So give it back to me, or give me the value of what you've taken from me.
And because they won't or they can't, it's like, well, fair enough. There's the invoice then. Pay that.
Right.
So anyway.
So the what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up a trust called the Auric Liquiescence Trust.
Excuse me? The what?
The Auric...
Oh, God, this is going to be so bad. He's just going to admit to fraud he's going to do on camera, and he's going to get away with it, because nothing matters.
Liquiescence Trust. I'm gonna explain what that means later on.
The Auric, I can't even say it.
The Auric Liquiescence Trust.
The Auric Liquiescence Trust. You know, it just trips off your hair, off your lips, doesn't it? Okay, so you're going to set up a trust.
Yes, I'm going to be the grantor and trustee. And
Auric Liquiescence. I'm sorry, is the name of his trust named after drinking piss? Auric. Yeah, I think he named his trust after drinking pee.
Invite anybody who's got a mortgage to be...
Yes, I'm actually familiar with Mind of Steel. I've not watched his stuff yet, but I did come across his videos and have them saved. I've not watched them yet, though.
Become a beneficiary. And there'll be a donation involved, but it should be less than a mortgage payment.
Right.
So you have to give Dave money, actual money, which why does he want actual money? Didn't he say his promissory notes are just as good as money? So why would he want this filthy, you know, fake money, the pound, the euro, whatever people have that want to give it to him? Why does he, I would ask to any sovereign citizen who's looking to buy this from Dave, why does Dave want your money that he's calling fake? If he can just make promissory notes that he thinks are as good as money, why does he need your money? Does that make sense? Kind of seems like he wants something of value from you, so he can give you something of no value. Just a thought.
So people would become a beneficiary of the trust. They make a donation of whatever, and then what happens?
Right. So, and this is a bit the quiet bit we can't really talk about, but this is where I'll create a financial instrument that they can't refuse. Right.
Oh boy, what kind of financial instrument? Who gave you the ability to make this financial instrument, Dave? Don't step on keyboard, baby.
They can't.
The banks can't refuse.
Banks can't refuse. Again,
I'm betting they'll refuse it.
Using their own technology, their own methodologies against them, because they're using them against us.
Yeah.
And again, equality before the law is paramount. So if they can do it, then we can do it. Yeah.
So if people were interested in doing this, you'd obviously be telling...
That's like saying the cops can go around arresting people, so I can too. No, that's not how any of this works. Please stop.
The individuals who would be making the donation, what's going on?
Right. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with I have a Telegram group for the people who came to the mortgage talk.
Right.
And it's actually open to anybody else now. But I'm going to do a live broadcast on that group because they'll be the primary people who primary beneficiaries. And
so he's going to do a more private live stream on his Telegram channel that goes into the details of the alleged fraud.
Let them know exactly how it's going to work. And then I'm going to, slowly in smaller groups, let other people know. I'm just trying to minimize, the information getting out there.
Yes.
As much as possible.
Nobody.
And
no.
I mean, and the case that I did, whereas I just shoved it on a thing, and I don't know how many people watched it. About 50, 100,000 people watched that particular video, and no wonder, they're being. I mean, you wouldn't want 50,000 people walking into the bank going, "I've got this promissory note," because they'd all be gathering in the back room going, "Well, we've got to stop this, Johns. Yes, how do we?"
I mean, it's illegal either way, so it doesn't matter if it's one or however many more. It's still illegal.
Stop this. So, yeah.
Well, the law is on our side. The legislation.
The law was not on his side.
And
no. Sorry, I keep trying to stop him. He's trying to lick himself, and he's not supposed to be right now because he's healing. I'm sorry, buddy. You cannot lick your genitals right now. I know. It's unfair.
Bill of Exchange Act 1882 basically says that a promissory note is cash.
Right.
And that's backed up by Lord Denning in, let's see if I remember it, Fielding and Platt. Yeah, Fielding and Platt versus Selim and Jar, 1969.
69.
He says that promissory note has to be treated as cash. So that and...
I don't think when they wrote that, they meant that any asshole could write on a piece of paper and count that.
I gave you the little version, didn't I?
Yeah,
there it is.
I think I gave it back.
We're going for about another half an hour, by the way. Letting everyone know. Maybe a little longer than that.
You won't be able to see this, but I've this is my mock-up. Oh, okay. It's over there.
Oh my God! Look at it. He put a seal on it and everything. This has got to constitute fraud. Come on, man. This has got to constitute fraud.
It's my mock-up of the promissory note. You might notice.
What is this? A promissory note for ants?
There's this is from Dave Silver.
I'll try and focus this. Hang on.
Yeah.
Doing this.
Nemesaur, thank you so much for gifting 20 tier 1 subs to the community. Always so generous. Seriously. Couldn't do it without you, Nemesaur. Thank you.
Cack-handed here.
So you'll notice that there's that £5 note in the corner. Right?
Wow. He's claiming that this piece of paper he fucking made is worth £200,000. Oh my God. And there's like a watermark on it. Oh, if he actually tries to use these, he's gonna get in so much fucking trouble. I cannot believe this. I cannot believe this.
But it's going to be wrapped around the promissory note. So it's glued to the promissory note, wrapped around it. So that you can't basically remove the fiver from the promissory note. But, as I said, there'll be some jiggery pokery so that the promissory note will be...
It's what in American? That's probably about $350,000 if I had to guess. Let me take a look, though. Oh, wow, it's actually way less than I thought. That's only $243,000. Jesus. That's weakened currency. That's way less than the exchange rate used to be. That's crazy.
Will be irresistible to them.
Right. And that's the bit we can't talk about.
That's the bit we can't talk about. But the promissory note itself is very similar to the one that that Michael Tellinger put forward that essentially.
I mean, it was like 100,000 less than I thought off the top of my head. Maybe I was doing accidentally the exchange for Australian currency. What's 200,000 in? Yeah, Brexit probably didn't help. 200. 100K. No, that'd be the opposite for Australia. That'd be even less. I don't know then.
It's like a precedent that he actually paid off Standard Bank of South Africa. I think it was 800,000 rand, which is I think about 70 or 80,000 pounds.
Right.
So he paid off. I think it was a shortfall to the sale of his house,
Wow.
but he paid with promissory notes, and they were accepted. So the basic premise of
Empty Dur says, I paid for these bits with a note that said, this is real money. Just ask my mom. She said it's okay.
Michael
It's good enough for Bezos. It's good enough for me. Thanks for the bits.
Tellinger's promissory note has been adopted in this one with a little twist. But it means that they can see the assets behind the promissory note, but they can't actually access them.
Right. Oh, okay. So in other words, they could take the promissory note, but they couldn't actually get to.
Yeah, they can see the value of the promissory note, and they can verify the value of the promissory note, but they can't actually get to the assets.
But that would be enough for them to accept it because.
Ashley says, I'm sending you a promissory note for $1 billion. Enjoy your new life. I'm out of here, suckers.
They could securitize it?
Well, they can securitize it, and it'll look very attractive because there'll be something.
In what universe is this an attractive security? What's backing it?
Behind it.
And so what would be the process then? I mean, presumably you couldn't just talk to the tiller at the bank, and an ordinary tiller there, because they would just be going, what the hell is this you've come in with?
No, you'd have to deliver it. The best way would be, again, as Michael Tellinger put forward, that you go to the headquarters of the bank and go to their legal documents receiving office.
Ah, right.
You're gonna try to go to the bank headquarters, go to their official office where they accept things like this, and try and pass off a fraud? Oh God, this is such a bad idea. Amber says, a promissory note's a real thing. It is essentially a kind of contract by which one person, group, or institution agrees to pay another X amount of money. They used to be more common. It used to be how banking worked. A bank office would issue someone a note for X amount. If you took it to another branch, you could claim the money. Yes, he seems to think that for some reason the banks are under obligation to accept his homemade promissory notes, though. I don't know why he thinks this.
and get it stamped that it's been received. So you get the note stamped and the copy stamped, along with the notice of full and final settlement, which will have all the legislation and all the case law that's behind it, and all the reasons why they have to take it.
Well, they have to take it.
Yeah,
they don't. They do not have to take it.
Return it.
They don't have to take it anymore. Even
if they return it, according to the Bill of Exchange Act, if I tender something to you, right, and it's valid, and you say no, don't accept that,
and I return
they
it.
dishonour it, then literally the debt's extinguished.
Debt's gone.
Yeah.
Very interesting. So why would people? I mean, you mentioned about the trust and a trust in you, and the donation. Could people do this themselves?
Well, okay. So one of the things.
Why should people give you money for this, Dave? Well,
we tried back in the Free Man on the Land days. Was when we first figured out about promissory notes. A couple of people tried writing a promissory note to themselves,
right,
and deposit into the bank, and it didn't work.
Right.
Shocking.
But one thing that did work, and I don't know how long it worked for, whether we got a balance show up and then it was whipped away or something, but it worked.
Okay, but it didn't work just because there was a clerical error in your favor temporarily doesn't mean you were doing the right thing. It was taken away because it wasn't real. How don't they get this?
That somebody created a promissory note and paid somebody else for that promissory note, and that somebody else, I think it was his mum, and his mum basically took that promissory note and deposited it into the bank. So it wasn't the person writing it.
That would be fraud. That would be fraud.
That deposited it. It was a third party who got paid with that note.
Yes. But then where did the money come from, Dave? Where did the money come from?
I suppose that makes sense because it's the Bank of England's note that we use. It's not.
H. Baird says, hey now, a clerical error in your favor is a valid game mechanic in Monopoly, so who's to say? That's how that works, by the way.
Our own note, so it's somebody else's note. So if I give you a promissory note of £10 and you go down to the pub and you go, there you go, I'd like to pay with this, assuming that the pub were happy, or you were the bank, let's say, forget the pub. Pub's been forgotten. And then the bank go, oh yeah, okay, we can see the relevant things that there needs to be on it for them to go, we can make some money out of this. They would then...
How are they going to make money out of the thing you made up? I don't understand how they think any of this works. Like, the thing that would make something like this valuable is the reality that the person who issues it is able to actually exchange it for something of real value at some point in the future. You never intend to pay out. So it's useless. It's worthless. Moira Soma says, let me remind you, all of this is the genius who tried to arrest the police when they tried to stop him and his fellow anti-vaxxers from occupying a vaccine facility. Yes, I remember that when they were all wearing their little berets and trying to act like citizen police to stop vaccinations. Assholes.
Accept it.
Yeah.
But they wouldn't accept it if you just written, because you could sit there for hours, couldn't you, just writing yourself, or you just write one for £10 million.
Instead, they've got a payment from the Auric Liquescent Trust. Sorry, I can't even say it.
So why the long, complicated name?
Okay, so the word auric means golden.
Golden.
And liquescent means liquid. So if anybody knows the type of golden liquid that I talk about...
Oh, I get it. So you kind of taking the piss?
I was actually going to call it the Auric Liquescence Extraction Trust.
And I wonder if...
it's like he's making fun of his own scam!
The bank's getting that...
Why does nothing matter anymore? Why can you literally make fun of your own scam in front of your marks, in front of the suckers that are gonna buy it, and they don't get it? What in the world?
Would ever know that would be, and that's that sort of thing that they do to us, isn't it? It's in plain sight. They wouldn't get the gag, but they're always having the gag on us with all their messages that we miss. I think it's brilliant.
Yeah. So I'm going to. So how I'm going to do it is actually I'm putting together a website, and on that website you'll be able to pledge. So you can say you're interested in the idea. But if you want to get involved, then you just say, all right, I'll pledge this donation, right?
Right.
So don't have to part of anything.
We're in a post-truth era, Hannah. At this point, I'm ready to be in a post-life era.
There'll be sufficient lead time, so maybe a couple of months, and I'll say, okay, I'm going to call in the pledges.
Right.
And then I'll be able to actually start the process and then start issuing promissory notes.
And I'm going to be cheeky here. Can people pledge with their own promissory notes?
Not really, because it's going to be because I'm going to have to acquire certain things.
Yes.
And,
oh, so you actually need real money that's worth something. Oh. Isn't that an admission right there that this is all bullshit? No, you can't give me a promissory note because that's worthless. I need real money.
Understood.
Yeah.
But it is an irony that, you know, that because the money system.
How would I discuss this? Waves hands at video. If this were a film you were watching instead of real life, as we can see within this just absolute seminal work of Steven Spielberg, we have a story about two truly ignorant gentlemen trying to use their ignorance to hurt others, and you can really tell the dramatic irony on display with the British accents, because many Americans consider the British accent to be indicative of class, of intelligence, and yet here we are seeing it used by two, frankly, idiots. So that's a really bold choice there, and it's maybe a statement on colonialism.
Is so corrupt that you have to use their promissory notes, which promise
No, I think just Dave does the pee-pee drinking.
nothing, in order for you to do what you need to do to be able to issue another promissory note, but yours would be worth something, whereas theirs is worth nothing. In, you know, once you remove the faith in the fact that the Bank of England would ever give the bearer on the sum of anything.
Right.
Okay, but that trust is kind of the point, isn't it? That's the point, is that the bank is consistent in being able to pay back its promises. That's the point. That's why theirs has value and yours doesn't. You don't have a reputation. Gitara says, waiting for the government to use AI-generated propaganda to trick gullible people into supporting a monarchy, and a comment section full of bots saying, yes, this is a good thing. We're going to reach whole new levels of manufactured consent. It's going to be fucked.
Yeah.
And the faith in the note will be a certification that there are assets behind it.
Yeah. Wow. Gosh, so you said about a couple of months to sort of get things up and running.
Right. So this is always a one man band. So
Yes.
it's going to take me a little while to get the website up and running. I'll start explaining the process to everybody as soon as I got the website up, and then maybe a month or so after that, I'll once I got enough numbers that I think I can. I can start this, because essentially, let's see if I'm going to reveal anything. If I get enough in the way of assets, I can do what the bank does, and as long as I write a promissory note to the or less than the amount I've got in assets, then the certification will look like, well, okay, he's got enough to cover it, and so the note is
okay. But are you gonna tell a bunch of people? It feel on an individual note basis, I understand what you're saying, but you're gonna give a bunch of people these, so collectively the total outstanding amount of these bullshit notes is going to exceed the money that you have? Is he familiar with the concept of a bank run? Oh, God. Oh, it's like he's taking the concept of fractional reserve banking and just going to town on it. What the hell?
There's something behind it.
Something behind it.
Fractional reserve banking. I can just do that, right? I can just do that without anything, without any oversight.
So depending on how much I can get to build this asset class, right, I can write promissory notes up to the value of that.
And so let's say people make their donations. Are they losing that money, that donation, or is it held like a bank in an account that which, if they wanted to call back on that, could they?
Well, they're kind of going to lose it as such, because it's going to.
No, that money's mine now.
It's going to be sitting there as the asset.
Okay,
Right.
But then what happens when someone shows up with the promissory note and says, you promised to pay me? That's what this says. Give me money.
But what they gain is their mortgage gone.
Is literally the mortgage gone. And as I said, there are so many things added to this note that means they're going to have an incredibly difficult time to actually say, no, this isn't valuable, or this isn't acceptable.
So, and I said this to Dave when he revealed the whole thing, and I thought, blimey, okay, that does sound like it's got legs. And I was...
It doesn't. It sounds like it's got criminal intent.
Incredibly disappointed, because I said to him, you're about 10 years too late for me because I have paid off my mortgage. But there are plenty of people who's more... I mean, I think of my son, for example. Well, my two sons have mortgages. And
one kid away from a sitcom.
The mortgage rate of going up when I was paying.
This can't be legal. It's not.
The mortgage rate was really low. I mean, I was very, very lucky. But now, of course, the mortgage rates are going up and people are being squeezed left, right, and centre.
Yeah.
And we've seen that with the bills and everything. So anything that can help people get out of trouble is good, especially when you know that it's a bloody fraud.
Yeah.
And you've been taken for a ride all the way along.
Yeah. And with the same method that we're going to use to actually get rid of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that is very exciting. I mean, it'd be fascinating to see how it pays out. I mean, because potentially millions of people could be banging on your door saying, we need to do something about this.
Sure. And because we've got this asset, as it were, right, then I can use the same methodology they use, the fractional reserve banking.
Right.
Right. They typically say have a reserve of 10%. That was the...
Dave, do you understand that banks and these institutions that use fractional reserve, they have heavy oversight from the government. They have regulation and standards and very, very high minimums that they need to have so you don't have a bank run. Like, what are you talking about, man?
That was a traditional value. So they keep 10% of reserves, and now they can lend out 90% more than they've got.
Right, but then that money goes to work, and those loans come back to them with interest. That's how they make money. You're not doing anything of value that's bringing money back in.
I think in this country, it's down to like 1% or less than 1% they have to keep in reserve.
Gosh.
So I can actually set my reserve at 0.00001%.
Oh my god, he's so stupid! I don't like how the banks work, and I think that their reserves are at 1%, which I don't even think is true, by the way. But so I'm gonna have basically none of the money. Oh god.
So does that, hang on a minute though, and I have to ask this question because people will be thinking, hang on a minute, does that mean it'll make you a lot of money and...
Yep! It's a scam!
With the reserve?
Well, the reserve, you know,
because it's in a trust.
There. It's in a trust.
Yeah.
But, you know, after, you know, if we...
You just said you're not going to have the reserves, though. You just said you're going to have 0.0001 whatever. He's speedrunning the 2008 financial crisis.
You know, we're going to have to keep sort of, you know, helping people with these mortgages. And to be honest, you know, when this thing's running, there'll be significant costs because the asset in I don't want to reveal too much.
No, I appreciate that.
But yeah, there's going to be...
That's interesting, Captain Rachel. I wonder how long that'll go for.
It's just the critics. I'm just sort of, you know, people were going, oh, is this a get rich for whoever comes up with the idea?
Yes.
And I mean, I know you and I trust you and
why?
All that, but I'm just sort of, I know I have to sometimes ask these difficult questions, but I think you've batted it away by saying, well, the money's in the trust. It's not your money. You're the grantor of the trust. And so therefore it's you're helping people get out of their mortgage.
And if it comes to the point where there's no more people wanting mortgages, well, there's other projects
Right.
Right. The other one, oh, do I say? Yeah, the other project I started to launch, but I just didn't get enough support to actually help me launch it. Was to start an energy company.
Oh, right.
And essentially, anyone who changes their meters can sort of join my company.
What do you mean you're starting an energy company? What are you talking about? You do not have the capital or resources to begin a power company? What is he talking about? He thinks he's starting basically a bank and also a power company. This guy has no idea how anything works. Is this pee guy? Yeah, he's pee guy. He drinks pee.
Not join my company, but sign up with my company, and I will charge them £400 a month for their energy, and but I'll pay them £390 a month for meter rental.
Right. So it's really only £1.
Or yeah, whatever it is.
The math there was 10. Oh my god, he couldn't do a basic subtraction problem.
Whatever it is.
400 minus 390, Richard. 400 minus 390. That's not 1. That's not 1.
So that they can just say, sorry, I'm with Allegedly Energy. You know.
Allegedly, this is energy.
Yeah. There are other projects to
Yes.
help people that we can get off the ground.
Absolutely.
Does he think it's like really easy to like start a power plant? What kind of energy is he gonna make?
Well, you're clearly a fairly fearless chap, aren't you? By these, challenging the system. We know what happens to people who challenge the
There's a very thin line between courage and stupidity.
system.
Well, again,
and he's not even close to it.
Small fry, yeah.
Right.
I mean, yeah, they'll take our channels away or try and they're not gonna murder us or anything.
Well, I hope not. I hope not.
Because we're not part of their system. We're not taking oaths or anything like that. So,
No, that's true.
But they've got an array of things they can throw at us.
One imagines they're quite busy at the moment.
Yes.
With more. I nearly said nobler issues, but none of it's noble. But, with priorities that they have to try and take over the world and do all whatever nonsense they're doing. Well, that sounds really interesting. How do people get in touch with you then to find out more?
Right. Well, at the moment, as I said, I haven't launched anything. I'm literally just trying to get some interest.
Is this interviewing being paid by P Guy? Not that I'm aware of. The guy Richard Vobes who is doing this interview, he's just like this. Like, he genuinely believes this stuff, as far as I know, at least. Maybe he's just a grifter, but he certainly presents himself as believing all of these things.
Some awareness that this is coming. And I'll start sort of putting it out on the Telegram groups and all the other groups when the time's right, and hopefully with word of mouth we can get enough people to actually start it off.
Okay, I'm glad you said that, because that just leads me into, please don't email me, as people do, and then they say, Richard, can you tell us when this is happening, or can you tell us this about this is happening? Because I don't know. The person you need to get in touch with is allegedly Dave.
Right, and you can use my email if you want. It's dmurphy25@gmail.com.
dmurphy25@gmail.com.
Yep. My website has kind of gone down, and I'm trying to slowly put it back up again, but yeah, the bare bones of my site is still there, so you can find all my contact details at allegedlydave.com.
Fantastic. Well, that sounds interesting. So now you tour around and you do also.
And that's pretty much it. They do little end stuff, but that's about it. Yeah, that's not good. If he genuinely tries to move forward with that, he's going to get in lots of trouble. Let's take a look. This is the guy who had the sports car, the SUV, was it a Lamborghini SUV that got what was it, impounded or whatever, and he's trying to sue them for $1 trillion. I don't know if he's going to talk about any of that, but he's still posting videos, so let's take a look at some of them.
All right, what's up, y'all? So here's another one. I hear a lot of people saying that they've been doing particular things and having issues. People are saying they're putting in petitions, motions, things like that. Saying they appeared specially and they still got screwed. So all of this is one big ass competency test. If you're in court, you've already given them jurisdiction, okay? If you're in court.
Oh no, is he telling people not to show up for court? Wait, how are you gonna sue the police if you don't want to show up for court?
Court, you've boarded their vessel. Some of these damn courthouses are literally shaped like ships if you zoom out.
The courthouse is a boat. Very
Their
compelling.
vessel, which means you've given them jurisdiction. That's the purpose of appearing. Go ahead and eat your food. That's the purpose of appearing by special limited appearance, and not generally, and not in person.
The special appearance thing doesn't matter. That's why you'll hear sovereign citizens say, I'm appearing under special appearance. They think it keeps the court from having jurisdiction over them. They're incorrect. That's not how jurisdiction works.
A petition is a request. So if you're putting in a petition, you're asking for something.
Yeah, they're the court. You need to ask.
Your proper place, in propria persona, sui juris, you're actually asking for something. Same things go for motions. A motion is a request. A demand is something you're entitled to. So it's all dependent on what you actually put in and how you're doing your process. All these things matter. If you come in propria persona sui juris, but you put in a motion, you've technically given them jurisdiction. If you're putting in a petition or a request rather than a demand or a notice, you've technically given them jurisdiction on some things. So all that stuff matters. Another thing that people seem to have confusion about is what contracts are. Well, you have implied contracts, express contracts, constructive contracts. You can have a contract by your actions, by what you say, by what you do, all those things. So if you're sending in paperwork saying that you're a sovereign or that you're a state citizen or a national, but then you're using a social, which is nothing but a big ass badge for saying I'm a US citizen, aka I'm a slave, well, you've now
Oh boy. Oh boy. I don't find it great to call US citizenship slavery when in the history of the United States we've had actual chattel slavery, and those people were freed and then given citizenship under the 14th Amendment. So that's like fucked up. That's pretty fucked up, man.
contracted your rights away.
Like, I know I'm the white person here, so like, oh, I'm getting offended on behalf and like, whatever. But like, I don't know, man. That just seems pretty yikes.
Own actions have now engaged in a contract which has now stripped you of your sovereignty, your private rights, and you no longer have reserved your rights. That's why it's important to reserve your rights. But once you reserve your rights, you have to know how to maintain those rights and actually reserve them, not now give them up by your actions, you know.
Hydrate.
Registering a car, getting a driver's license without reserving your rights, getting a U.S. citizen passport instead of a non-citizen national passport. All these things are contracts, and when you contract with the government, you contract your rights away, and you're no longer in your proper place. Key thing for sure, if you are using a social security number, because you don't have to use a social, you can use a CPN, a credit privacy number.
Oh no! Those are the fake number that like Taquan X uses. Those are the stolen social security numbers. If you ever hear someone talking about a CPN, a credit privacy number, a private credit protection number, That's a scam. That's a fraud. Those are other people's social security numbers that have been stolen, and then they get sold to people as, like, solutions to your credit problem. It's stolen social security numbers.
You're not obligated.
Gitara says, black man here, you're right. That's extremely problematic of him to compare regular citizenship to actual slavery, even if it feels like many of us essentially work for free in this economy.
To even provide anybody with a social. That's literally indoctrination. I dare anybody to debate me on that shit. Any amount of money, anytime, any place. They can't prove that shit right. They can't prove that you must use a social. And matter of fact, if you look up a case, I think it's a post, what is it? 2008 fraud report. It's literally on the FBI's website. And they literally say, federal law allows the use of a credit privacy number. So if you're using a social, you signified you're a U.S. citizen, regardless of what you want to say, do, etc. So if somebody's telling you to use this social anyway, they're telling you to engage in a contract and then go try to claim your private rights, despite having already contracted those rights away. You see how that doesn't work? So petitions, demands, motions, they're all different. Notices, jurisdiction, subject matter jurisdiction, appearances, generally special, limited appearance.
You're just listing
all
things.
These little things matter. So just a tip for you.
Debate me. Any amount of money.
Loans,
What
fraud.
does he think a debate is? Yeah, I caught that too. Very strange.
What's up, peeps? All right, so here I have another one for y'all. I hear people talking about mortgages and stuff like that, saying they're having a issue with their mortgage. You got some people that are going to court this coming January over a mortgage, a deed of trust, something of the nature. So what is a mortgage? What is a lien? What is a deed of trust? A deed of trust or a mortgage is simply a contract that it gives whoever you engaged with the authority to come and take your house in the event that you default on their bullshit, one-sided, fraudulent ass contract called a mortgage or a deed of trust. When you gave them your initial note that you signed, your application, which acted as a letter of credit, or the note, which is a promissory note, or a bill, which is a bill of exchange. Bills mean bills of exchange. Notes means promissory notes. That is all the equivalent of cash, money. It's the same as using a check. That is the fraud. That is the huge fraud. If you go to 12 USC 1813 L1, I think it is, it even explicitly says when you give someone a bill of exchange, a note, or something of the sort, it is the same equivalent as cash. Cash.
You think a bill is money? Like, you think you get charged a bill and you think that bill is not a debt, but you think it's money?
That means they took that note and they got paid. That is cash. The moment you signed that promissory note, that bill of exchange or whatever, you paid your home off, your car.
No, you didn't. You agreed to enter into a loan agreement. That loan can then potentially be securitized and bundled with other mortgages into some sort of, like, package that goes onto the markets and gets bought into by, you know, hedge funds and stuff. But no, your mortgage is not paid off. It's just you agreeing to pay the mortgage over whatever length of time your mortgage is. 30 years is the typical amount of time.
Whatever the purported fraudulent ass loan.
You hope nobody listens to him? I hope so too.
Was stated to be for. What's occurring is a currency exchange. You're giving them a note in exchange for credit. They have.
You are giving them an agreement to pay back the loan with interest, and they are paying for the house, which they own in that moment, but they are allowing you to live there while you pay them back for the loan they gave you for the house.
Access to credit, Federal Reserve notes. You do not. You need that because that is what is circulating in society. In exchange for your promissory note or your bill of exchange or whatever negotiable or non-negotiable.
I feel like they don't understand that, like, a legitimate promissory note, the paper itself isn't what's valuable. It's like they think the paper is valuable. What makes the paper valuable is what it says. And what it says is that you are going to pay the money. The money is what is valuable. The paper is just a symbol to show that you are going to pay that money. The money is ultimately still the thing of value. The promissory note is just a stand-in for that agreement for you to pay.
Instrument you give them, you can easily see from UCC 3104 what a negotiable instrument is, and from 12 USC 1813 L1, you can see that a bill of exchange or a note is the equivalent of cash. So comprehending that and being able to articulate that, you put them in a position where they have to honor what's going on. And if they don't act in accordance, they're committing blatant fraud, extortion, treason, coercion.
Treason? Treason was on the list? He's just throwing stuff at the wall.
Color of law, conspiracy, they're racketeering, you name it. You have to be able to sue them and get what's yours. But they are doing a currency exchange. They're taking your note in accordance with 12 USC 412. They're taking your note, your bill of exchange, as collateral. The house is not collateral.
The house is collateral.
The house is not collateral.
It is.
The car is not collateral.
It is. If it's like a securitized loan, yeah, that is.
The collateral is the security. The piece of paper that you sign that you think is just a piece of paper, it's actually cash.
It's not. It's an agreement that you will pay them cash.
Worth the same amount of money that literally is written on its face, aka the face value. So if you have a note for $1 million, you just gave them a cash item worth $1 million. And then you turned around and made payments to these bozos because they tricked you. And by tacit agreement, silent acquiescence, you agreed to pay them double. And you abandoned all of your money, all of your securities, all of your bonds, all of your assets. Don't believe me? Look it up and prove me wrong. But that's what occurred. So how do you fix this? If you're in a situation where they're trying to take your home, the bank themselves is foreclosing on you, and then they're trying to buy the home and say that you also owe them money.
They don't have to buy the home. They already own it.
Because they're taking advantage of your ignorance. File a lawsuit against these fucking bozos. These guys are garbage.
Yeah, that went great for Cataspinda. Now she's living with her boyfriend.
As fraudulent traitors. Majority of them are either foreigners or they're just treasonous fucking traitors. Your house is paid for. Your car is paid for. Everything.
Ben, thanks for subscribing on YouTube.
Anything you're paying for, you're double paying for, okay?
Nope.
Thing's been paid for already.
It has not.
12 USC 1813 L1 UCC 3104 negotiable.
Itara says, "Sir, I agree to pay taxes, bills, and fines because I don't want to go to jail or be on the street."
Instruments. Acceptance for value. UCC 3409. Final expression of a contract. When you send them back your administrative process and you're saying these are the new terms. UCC 2-202. Common law, fraud, contracts, it all runs everything. Highlighted in UCC 1-103. Discharge upon payment. UCC 3-603. Discharge when you simply say this is for full satisfaction. UCC 3-311. If you come
Nemesaur says 12 USC 413 governs the issuing of notes from the Federal Reserve. I don't even see how that is connected to anything. They always cherry pick, so they'll take like one sentence out of a specific code or something that like completely cherry picked out of it seems to say what they want it to say, and they'll ignore the entire context. It's just what they do.
in and you're trying to say this is offer and acceptance.
Thank
and
you,
you've
liberate
accepted
yourself.
my contract. UCC 2 2-206. How do you form this contract? Which affirms that this contract has been formed in the ways you can form contracts, aka offer and acceptance, mailbox postal rule, things like that. UCC 2-204. So in summary, you paid for everything. Everything is actually already paid. Your note, your bill of exchange, your signature. Your signature just acts as an authorization of issuance of credit. You have a trust. The Treasury and the IRS are supposed to do the right thing, but they're corrupt pieces of shit, so they don't. You have a trust. Your social security number is not your social security.
Who does he think is paying? Yeah, it's the trust thing. It's the SSDK trust thing. It always is.
Number. It's the
virtually always.
Social that was given to you by a third-party company called the Social Security Administration. That social security number is an identifier. It's the mark of the beast. It identifies.
Oh no! You think social security numbers are the mark of the beast?
As your legal person, your straw man, your ins legis.
You know how you have your social security number on the back of your hand or on your forehead?
Your trust, your individual, your person, whatever fictitious ass title you want to give it. It's not a man, it's not a woman.
He's acting like the law is an OS and he's applying terminal commands to resolve errors. That's not a bad way of describing what sovereign citizens are doing. They're trying to find loopholes. They think it's all magic words and, or like you put it, code that they can hack.
Of law. So claim your assets, people. Wake up, please. This is just getting... It's like, what the fuck is really going on? I don't have to tell y'all, but if you're dealing with a mortgage, claim the deed of trust. Claim the deed. Claim the note. Move it into your trust. Follow UCC lien on everything. And now they don't have any authority to claim anything. Why are they able to foreclose on your home?
Because they bought it.
To foreclose because they have authority and standing. How do they have...
Yorthwolf says, hello, Hannah. I'm probably your only furry viewer. That's definitely not true. I have many furry viewers.
Authority and standing by the deed of trust and the note that you have failed to claim. When you claim and own the deed of trust and the note and say you added it to your UC1 or your UC3 and it's now a part of your entire asset structure or your trust, they don't have authority.
Furries, sound off in chat.
They don't have, quote, standing, end quote, in any way, shape, or form. They don't have the proper capacity. So the only way they can win at that point is if you willfully allow them to win. If you don't respond...
You willingly allow them to win. Chitara says, I'm trying to figure out this trust thing. I've been watching these Sovsit streams for years, and I'm still unsure where this money and assets that the government is holding from us or where it even comes from. Also, the idea that you can live in a country yet not be under the authority of the government. If you're in my house, you're under the authority of my rules, yeah? Same thing on a bigger scale, I'd think. I imagine if you asked them, they would say that they just created the value, that the value is representative of your future labor, potentially, or something. I don't think they think about it too deeply in terms of, like, macroeconomics, what it would mean to have that much, like, currency locked away, seemingly inaccessible. Like, why would you even do it? I don't know. H-Baird says they can't foreclose until the 1 close, 2 close, 3 close. Checkmate, financial system.
If you throw a tantrum but you don't present your paperwork correctly, that is literally how they will win. So we're at that time, peeps. If you're going to stand by complicitly and just allow shit to happen, fuck out the way. If you really want to stand up for your rights, you're going to really have to stand up for your rights. They ain't playing games.
Yeah, Jade Monkey, that's a good way to put it. They're mortgaging the value of your labor for the future.
They're not giving you guys any cakewalks. Paupers and broke people and all these people saying, help me, help me.
He was saying paupers, Paupers. I thought for a second he was saying poppers, Poppers, and I was very confused.
I have rights when you don't know fucking.
He should take some poppers, so he's... No! 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 No.
Shit. You don't know how to read a book. You don't even know how to draft an affidavit, but you're delusional as shit into thinking that you're due everything, and you can't even read a fucking book. Go sit the fuck down and shut the fuck up.
No, I'll make the joke. It's fine. He should do some poppers, so he's ready to get absolutely fucked by the legal system whenever they catch on to all the fraud he's almost certainly doing. That's fine.
For my real ones, actually reading, studying, learning, keep pushing forward. These people are shady as fuck. Shady as fuck. As I said, I'm gonna keep on leading by example. I'm not going anywhere. I want all the fucking smoke.
For the straights, poppers are a thing that you can sniff, and it is a drug, and it loosens all of your involuntary muscles.
These bozos think that they can fuck with my shit. They got another thing coming, straight up. I'm taking everybody to town. I'll list off the list again, just so these fucking people know who I'm coming for.
No, we didn't find out where his money's from.
Riverside County Sheriff, California Highway Patrol, Chase, Wells Fargo.
And importantly, poppers, aka amyl nitrate, are also VCR head cleaners. Not a joke. What you use to clean your VCR head. So.
SoFi, Rancho Water District, and Krista. Krista, I'm gonna fucking make an example out of you, bitch. You think you can just use my shit without my permission? Okay? Southern California Edison, Spectrum, AT&T, Department of State, and Anthony Blinken's old treasonous ass. Janet Yellen and the Secretary...
Nitrite, you're right. Not nitrate, nitrite. I always get that. I always misspeak on that.
...of the Department of Treasury. Secretary of State Shirley Weber, Gavin Newsom. Congress Rep Darrell Issa, who just sits by and allows all this shit to happen as a treasonous fucking traitor. All you people are gonna have your day, and I'm gonna make sure you have your day. But yeah, if anybody needs some assistance, tap in. Do not come to me asking for 100% free assistance. I will block the fuck out of you. I will literally fucking obliterate you via text and tell you you're incompetent, stupid, and need to shut the fuck up if you come to me asking for 100% free help. That's why your dumbass is in this situation.
Is this guy like the new American Marcel? I love him. Can we keep him?
Because you're fucking stupid. You think shits are handouts. You refuse to learn. And you're still circling back looking for free hand-me-down ass fucking excuses. You're a pauper. You're not adding to the fucking world. You're literally a slave, mentally and physically. So either wake the fuck up and read, or shut the fuck up and get out the way.
Wow, he's awful. He just called people paupers for being poor. H-Bird says he's about to start a very profitable kink phone service. What an interesting fella.
Alright, so here's another one. I hear people asking me this all the time. I sent the bank a bill
He is
of
Spokane Dog Man.
exchange, and the bank just blatantly ignored me. They didn't credit my account. They said, hey, actually, this is an invalid form of payment. That's called deprivation of rights.
It's deprivation of rights for the bank not to accept my fraudulent financial instrument. What about my right to commit fraud?
Color of law. So, cops, fronting
It
people...
reminds me of in Measure of a Man, when, I forget the name of the android expert. He's like, what about my right to not have my life's work destroyed? That's not a right. What are you talking about?
People that work in these companies at the payment departments, they are colored, colorable. and they operate under the color of law. And I don't mean colored as in their skin tone. I mean colored as in their mentality. They are mentally incapable, legally disabled, and they're considered wards of the court and incompetents. They need attorneys to represent them because they don't understand the law. So when you send something into a department and they're unaware of all of this, they literally are incompetent for the most part. But quite often, you're dealing with shady-ass individuals that are trying to deprive you under
You're the shady individual!
the law.
Reddit Cuttlefish, what do you want me to look up in Black's Law Dictionary? Legal tender? Will do.
So what you need to comprehend is that you have to know how to assert and defend your position and your rights. Anything you're trying to do, you have to know how to defend said action. You can't send in a bill of exchange and then think you're going to get some magic remedy, and then when they don't respond accordingly, you want to, freak out and say, oh, this stuff doesn't work, or, they're committing fraud and they're what are you going to do about it?
Legal tender. All coins and currencies of the United States, including Federal Reserve notes and circulating notes of the Federal Reserve banks and national banking associations, regardless of when coined or issued, are legal tender for all debts, public and private.
If you don't even know how to send in a simple-ass affidavit and defend your position, then why should they respect you? You're just like some pauper, a little kid that found a
Wow,
gun.
he really likes the term pauper as an insult. You never hear that. This guy really hates poor people.
And is trying to play with it. You don't know.
Another mark, by the way, in the potential Nepo baby category is how much derision he seems to have for the poor or the working class.
What you're doing, you don't even know what you're saying. So, first thing comes.
Is he running a grift? He might believe this. But yes, I would argue it's a grift, but he might truly believe this. I don't know.
Education. You have to know what you're doing. Monetary policy, negotiable instruments, monetary instruments, contract law, trust law, fiduciary relationships, duties, responsibilities, how to articulate yourself, how to defend your position, and things of that nature. But one easy method is to simply commence a process. Another way to think about it is you gave them the instrument.
It's a big house. Oh, yeah. He says his house is paid off, but he didn't say he paid it off. I think he's a Nepo baby.
Is it valid? When you give somebody a check, you write somebody a check and you give it to them, you say, hey, here's the payment. Do you now need to tell these people?
I will hedge my bets here. Either Nepo baby or crypto bro nouveau riche.
How to cash said check, or have they cashed a check before so they know how to handle the check? They know how to swap the check for another form of usable currency like dollars, credits, exchange currency for currency in accordance with 12 USC 412 using your note, bill of exchange, and such as collateral. So when you tender payment in accordance with House Joint Resolution 192, Public Law 73-10, and you say, hey, by operation of law, if you refuse this, the entire obligation and debt is now discharged per UCC 3-603. And because I've literally wrote for full satisfaction and accord on this instrument, it's also discharged per UCC 3-
I wrote it, see? You have to let me just get a loan for free. I wrote a thing on a piece of paper, so you have to give me money for nothing in return. I'm not a scam artist.
311. And, matter of fact, I'm going to assign this debt to the Treasury for full discharge per UCC 3-601. And you can go ahead and swap it dollar for dollar per, I think it's, 31 USC 5118.
By the way, when people like this, when grifters cite things off the top of their head like this, often that's part of, like, the scam. The fact that they have these citations memorized is supposed to be impressive, right? Oh, wow, he remembers so many of these off the top of his head. He must know what he's talking about. It's part of the illusion of his expertise or competence, is the fact that he, by rote, remembers certain passages. though of course he's using them completely incorrectly.
Then that's that. So it really comes down to enforcement, your competency, and how you can actually defend yourself in your position. A lot of these people are dumb. A lot of these people don't know what's going on. But once it gets to the higher ups, the attorneys, it's up to them to do research. A lot of these attorneys are retards. They study stuff in law school, and they're not taught this in law school. They're taught how to be good little peons and good little workers, officers of the court, on how to usher you and everybody else right back into the system. When you get an attorney, oh, we'll just waive arraignment. Yeah, that's because you automatically give them jurisdiction when you waive arraignment.
They have jurisdiction either way. They have jurisdiction either way. Arraignment is basically a formality. If you already know how you're gonna plead, you can waive it.
The moment you get an attorney, you've literally given up your sovereignty. You now become a ward of the court, and
incorrect.
That attorney is now your guardian. So there's a lot of little things that you guys have to figure out, but this is all real. I'm still in my house. My dogs are still eating. Y'all gotta wake up. This is not for the weak. They do not respect weak people. If you are weak and you can't even articulate yourself in a simple position, they don't care. They're gonna literally take advantage of you, and you're gonna be very unhappy, thinking everything is a scam, thinking you can't even accomplish anything, and thinking that you're doomed, when in reality, it's all in your head. You must stand up for yourself. They do not respect weakness. You must assert yourself. And that's that.
I think I hate this man.
Loans?
Like, there's plenty of these people, like, sovereign citizen types, that, like, I find amusing or interesting. Even Marcel. I don't hate Marcel. I find Marcel fascinating. I think I hate this man. Like, he's genuinely, like, just such a shitty person. I really don't like him. So we'll keep an eye on him as he continues in his sovereign citizen journey. That'll be good. I think we're done for the day. Thank you, everyone, for hanging out. I really appreciate it. I'm trying to get to level 2 of Twitch Partner Plus, so if you like the content, I'd really appreciate if you became a subscriber on Twitch. It would help out. If you can't, I understand. But if you can and like the content, helps a lot. And you no longer have to get ads, so that's always nice. Let's see who we're going to raid on Twitch. If you're on YouTube, give me a subscription. Give me a thumbs up. I'd appreciate it. I will be back tomorrow. I'm not sure what we'll be doing. Maybe some kind of tinfoil spotlight. I'm not sure. I'm feeling some kind of tinfoil, though. So we'll be doing that, and we'll be doing a Patreon-only show after that. So if you want to be a part of that, either become a Patreon, a paid member at patreon.com/Hannah Reloaded, or become a member on YouTube. Either way, you'll get access to the show. Let's see, who are we gonna raid? We'll raid Swell Entertainment. Alright, everyone, have a wonderful evening. I'll see you soon. Hope you sleep well and all that. I have had to pee for about half an hour. So I'm gonna go pee. Alright. Adios, everyone! Have a good night. I'm gonna do this. You won't be able to see me anymore. You ready? You ready? There we go. All dark. Oh. So nice not having eyes on me for 3 hours straight. Alright. Have a good night, everyone! Love you, Mr. Blast. See the rest of you later.